Welcome back. Thanks to Mazda BT50. Boys, I don't know about you, but I still feel like I'm 6 years of age on preliminary final night. It is the purest game of football. Yeah. The four best teams going head-to-head. You win and you're into the grand final, you lose and you feel like your season's just been a complete waste of time.
Yeah, it's going to be a ripper, this one, Ed. I think Freo would be feeling like their preparation's been perfect. They've rested their players, they're fresh. This is what they've worked for all season. I think they're ready.
Let's go to the national anthem at Domain Stadium.
Welcome you to the first preliminary final. Would you now please join with the coaches, players and umpires as we stand for the Australian national anthem.
This one. 4 teams left. The Dockers, the season's top qualifiers. That man is star in terrific form. 35 against the West Coast Eagles, 33 last week against Adelaide. And last time these sides met, he had 39. Sam Mitchell. The umpires tonight just checking them. Dalglish, Rosebery and Stevick. Big night for them too as we await the toss of the coin. Two greats in the competition. Hodge, so good last week, and Pavlich. He could shape this game tonight.
Jenny. Hi, how are you? Jenny, Matt, all the best.
Good luck, guys.
Luke, it's your call. It's just a header and a tail.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Heads is the call, and it's a tail.
Matthew Pavlich wins it, going to the eastern end, pointing towards Melbourne. Who knows? Warm night, glorious night in Perth as we go down to the boundary. Richo and Basil.
Thanks, Dan. An unbelievable atmosphere down here, Baz. When the Dockers ran out, the hairs came up on the back of the neck. The big Freo chant just went around the ground. And for the Hawks, it's going to be all about silencing that crowd. And to do that, they need a fast start. They absolutely have to come out of the blocks hard. They know they can do it against Freo. They average 108 points against them since 2011. They know they can score against Freo, but they've got to do it early, I reckon, Baz.
Quite right, Richo. As loud as we've ever heard this crowd, the Purple Army. Matthew Pavlich, he won the toss, his 15th final, 335th game. Strong word around the ground. If they lose tonight, it may be his last. But obviously, boys, he's not thinking about losing. Up to you.
Well, any last moment thoughts, Kevin?
Oh, just how excited I think both me and Duck are here. Preliminary finals. This is football at its best, isn't it? Because almost the players have got one eye on next week. They're thinking about next week, but they have got a huge job to do tonight. We're down to the best 4 teams in the competition, and this is going to be a ripping first quarter.
Absolutely. In a lot of ways, preliminary finals, I think that they're tougher than grand finals because that's your dream, to play in a grand final. You have to win tonight to get there.
5 straight to the bench. We knew that was happening pre-match, of course.
These two sides have played twice in finals, including the 2013 grand final. Hawthorn won that. Fremantle won an elimination final back in 2010. So, we're ready to go.
The brothers are opposed to one another, Den. The two Hills side by side on the wing.
I think it's the second time in the same series, isn't it? The Scholl brothers did it before. That's something. Poor old mum again. The nail biter. How about that? They grew up all those years ago together. Ran in the shadow of Stephen. And now they're standing on the wing at the main stadium. Meantime, Ballantyne and Birchall getting involved. Wise smiles. Fantastic. The opening bounce of the first preliminary final. Sandlands and Hale. Underway. Sandlands won it down. Neal slips it away. Mzungu back to Spur towards half forward. Pavlich, good sign, storming up the ground, wants to go. Impatiently drives it long down towards full forward. Sandlands launches himself. Got hands to it. Down goes Hale. Taken down by Ballantyne. Onto the loose ball, Pearce. It's a wayward kick. It floats harmlessly out of bounds in the left full forward pocket.
What a start by Fremantle. The ball inside 50, quick ball movement. And that's a great matchup on this wing. Pearson Smith, two speedsters.
Hill runs his full measure, gets it outside the danger zone. Rioli, clever handball over the top, Puopolo. So Poppy with a bit of time here now. He kicks to space. He's wanting Bruce to run onto it. Sutcliffe did well. Johnson, he was in doubt today. That's a good pickup. Well done to De Boer. They work it well. Spur, Mundy. 3 votes the last time they played on this ground. 33 disposals on the 3. Clever by Walters. Got it back to Pearce.
Pearce slips it inside. Hill takes something off the kick. Griffin decided not to go. Throwing himself out at Ballantyne. Main. Walters should goal from here. 20 minutes out and in it goes. It's a goal. Walters in all sorts of space.
Oh, wow. What a start to this game. It is absolutely buzzing out there. Michael Walters, that is a class finish on the run. It looks easy when it's 20 metres out, but there is pressure on. The crowd behind you finished beautifully.
It's only early, but Fremantle are very, very clean.
What about David?
Ball really well. Mundy. Sold the candy to about 4 Hawthorn players to find space when there was none.
Walters got the opening goal in the qualifying final against Sydney. Does it again here, so brilliant start. How quick was Sandilands to get forward a moment ago too? So Sutcliffe back, Ibbotson. Good kick again, and there he is. Walters not paid, and now in trouble. Stratton onto him. Of course, the small forwards have struggled, both these small forwards against the Hawks. Less than a goal a match, the two of them. Pearce's kick not good. Mark taken by Gibson. All Australian, Gibson. Along with Mitchell and Rioli.
What a stalwart he's been back in defence. Drives it around the outer side. Schoenmaker's in front. Knocked away by Ibbotson. Inadvertently knocked forward by Mundy. Got it back from Sandlands. Tackled by Bruce. Hand pass straight up in the air. Who wants it? Schoenmakers. Oh, brilliant Rioli. Out to Hill. Hill takes on Sutcliffe, then retreats. Comes back to Roughhead. Roughhead a long bomb down towards full forward. Surrounded by Dockers. Bounces on its point. Hill kept his composure. Went to Spur. Mzungu on his knees. And behind.
Quickly on to the Dockers. And they get the ball out. Neal on the up. So Pearce a lot of the ball early. Sprayed it a bit. He didn't spray that one. Pavlich. Can he turn it quickly? Ballantyne's the way to go. Now Ballantyne's got Griffin all on his own. Got him. They've got their second. It's the start they wanted. It's a sensational start by the Purple Army. Well, Pavlich important, Pearce important early.
Speed of ball movement by the Dockers has just been exceptional. They wanted the quick play on from full back and they got it, but just hitting their targets.
Two goals to Freo, and Nat Fyfe comes off the bench. That's nice. This crowd is going crazy. Hawthorn spoke about wanting to silence the crowd early. Well, it is the total opposite right now.
They thought to draw the big fellas at their feet. Mitchell, Shields, Burgoyne. Shields runs on up towards the wing. Stops, goes back to Frawley. Frawley, a high one down towards half forward. Coming strongly with Spur. Mzungu in front though. Knocked it down to Barlow. Barlow under pressure. Squeezes the kick away. Ballantyne up on his toes like a boxer. Takes the man on the mark on. Giray did well. Fought back. Got him. affected the kicker. High ball down towards half forward. Pavlich came in strongly. So did Lake. Got the crumbs. Scuffs it across towards Mitchell. Charging in Ballantyne. Ballantyne knocks it across to Sandilands. Quickly to De Boer. De Boer kicks inside the forward 50. Over the top, Stratton. Thumped away out of defence. Down there by Hill. Opportunity on the outer side. Ibbotson. Incorrect disposal. And it's coming back to Roughhead.
Remember, in round 15, they kicked 1 goal in the first half, Fremantle, down in Tassie. So Roughhead. Ibbotson had a good chance there. Brad Hill just collecting his breath, I think. Fife, he's sore, isn't he? You can see it just by his movement. Now suckling with that dart. Hodge got a free kick. Did it well, Hodgie. He hasn't missed a set shot this year.
And have a look at this. You see there, Hawthorn players late. They're wanting to hit Fife hard. They did this to him when they last played in round 15. Just didn't have to give away that free there, Mzungu, because they had the numbers back, Fremantle.
So he hasn't missed one. And famously, he scored one from a little further out than this last week, didn't he? To set the scene.
And it really got his teammates up and about. They came from everywhere to celebrate with him.
Well, this will get them going too, because they need it. This is the old skipper's goal. Oh. And it just kept going away and hit the post.
Hodgie coming up 4 goals last week. He was terrific, inspirational. Sutcliffe to the pocket and Hill. This is Stephen in the back pocket. Not much on offer. Hawthorn tightening it up the ground. Back to Spur. One of 5 South Australians in the Dockers team tonight. Darting eyes. Not much again available to him. So he goes for distance. Sandlands is in that pack. Missed by Taberner. Falls to Johnson. Up towards the wing and Pavlich again. Outmaneuvers Frawley. Pavlich feeling it at the moment from the wing. Going back is Main. Awkward situation for Giray. Plays it well and gets the ball out of bounds just outside the 50. Or the boundary throw in.
There's Fife and Shields again there. You can see that's from earlier, but just
and he doesn't want
body pressure on him.
Doesn't want contact in that lower leg. That's where he's been sore for the last month or two. And he's not running smoothly at the moment, the Fremantle star.
So Pav on top of Frawley early. Mundy, Pearce on the right side for him. That's a good kick. Gibson was caught underneath. Did okay. Stratton, Barlow, little give. Mzungu gets it back to Taberner. Mundy gets it back to Walters. Walters slowly to Neil. Good tackle. Hawthorn may get out here. Gibson, Mitchell. Stratton round the body. They did well, the Hawks. But it's going to come back in. So Spur. Can he find a target? He does. I think, no, he doesn't. Birchall picked it off. Taberner was slow off the mark, I reckon, there.
Well, dangerous kick too. Birchall goes back this time. Hodge. So the moment may have passed. Bruce has got the ball, but closed down on the wing by Sheridan. Bruce, a career-high 6 goals last week. In everything in the first half in particular. Clever kick. Lobs it to Lewis. Lewis to half forward. On was the lead from Schoenmakers. Had a good game against the Crows. He's about 70 metres out. The breeze is favouring the Dockers. There goes the kick inside the forward 50. Well, it's a wayward one. Bounces close to the boundary line. Rioli feigns a hand pass, then sends one inside to Roughhead. Charged down by Sutcliffe. Suckling off balance. Roughhead a fumble. Falling to the ground, Sheridan. Dawson. Poise coming from Spur. Drives it to a 2-on-1 though. The youngster, the meat and the sandwich there, Taberner. Johnson, though, the veteran, on the assist. Spots a man cruising through midfield. That's Barlow. Can he control it? Bearing down Giray. Comes to Pavlich. Pavlich goes to right half forward. Ballantyne. Storming back is Main. Will it get there in time? One leap there for Gibson. He knocked it away, but he held on. He held on as he was falling.
Holding. Hayden, walk away. You've got the free. Michael, walk away. You've got the free. Matt, walk away. Oh, drag him to the ground afterwards.
Great smother there down the other end of the ground. And again, Fremantle just getting them out the back. Again, it was Ballantyne's kick. Gibson Terrific first smother, but then the panic set in and just dragged him to the ground.
Put that down to Ballantyne. That's twice now. He's got the ball quickly on to the player running into the space. Really important that you have an awareness about how quickly to get back and get the ball on.
So Chris Mayne, 27 goals for this season. Only about 20 minutes out here. Should kick it. Oh, that's a poor effort out to the right. They need those goals. That's been the story. The Dockers' lack of goals this season. They lead by 11.
Think back to that 2013 grand final and those misses early.
Push, Hawthorn.
So Ruffy
Hold.
kicked 6 against Port Adelaide last year in the prelim. He's kicked 5 in a grand final. 5 times he's kicked 4 against the Dockers. Good hands from Mitchell.
Contact. Hawthorn.
Gee, that was good crumbing by Sam Mitchell then. Just took it low, sharp hands, drew the free kick. Great play. Now, Fremantle from here will want to make sure that Hawthorn can't mark the ball and just control the footy, working it down the ground. They want to stop the Hawthorn marks.
Very short to Hale, then Hale down the line and close to that boundary line and a ball in. So without a goal, Hawthorn. This time last week they were savaging the Crows.
Getting numbers back really well, Fremantle. Really making it hard for Hawthorn to pinpoint the ball and get those uncontested marks.
Boundary throw in right on the 50. Hale's in front, backhands it down, intended for Hill, got there eventually. Shields in trouble, De Boer tosses him disdainfully over the boundary line.
They're getting numbers back, the Dockers, but when they do win the footy, their transition forward has been too good for Hawthorn so far. They're making the Hawks defend really well.
And missed though by Mayne. Tossed in. Sandilands deftly, but to the wrong bloke. Lewis gave it to Hill, who was upended. Neal out of there, moved it a couple of metres. Neal goes again. Back came Lewis, Suckling. Hurried kick inside the forward 50. Well, Dawson tried to knock it in front of the pack. It went behind. Now Spurs got a problem. Did he drag it in? Apparently not.
Thanks, Jen.
So Hodgie's placed himself at centre-half forward for the bit. He's been in that forward 50 for a while, Hodge.
At the back, you guys, at the back.
Kicked 3 goals down in Tassie. Twice he's kicked 4 in a match this year, including last week, Hodge. 20 for the season.
Just looking at the stat sheet for Fremantle, there's only one Freo player that hasn't had a touch. That's Nat Fyfe.
Well, big odds at Richo. Barlow. He's been good, Barlow.
Hold there, please.
Had an up-and-down season, to be honest. Not at his top, but he started well here.
Oh, reversal of free kick.
Leave it. It's against you. Off the ball. Let it go.
So
Let it go.
against Ballantyne, well, this is huge.
Wow, costly. Well off the footy there. Fremantle had the ball. Instead, Hawthorn will be having a shot. 30 out.
That's a big penalty, isn't it? Off the footy.
Let's have a look at the left of screen, guys. See what happens here. So Ballantyne.
Oh,
No.
Please.
no.
Gee, you are kidding, aren't you? Anyway, it's a goal. Smith kicks the goal. Well,
That's a tough call after all we've seen in the opening few minutes here.
Well, we talk about players getting overawed. That's just simply an umpire getting overawed by the occasion. That is an absolute shocker and a big penalty to pay.
After the shocker, the Dockers still lead by 5. Mitchell brilliantly smothered by Ballantyne, though. Ricochets to Suckling. The Champs go forward. Down towards half forward. Timely mark Spur. He started well. Spur across half back to Ibbotson.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's good.
And it's a bad decision, that one, but now Fremantle have got to put that behind them. They know it'll be a poor decision. They've got to get back to playing the way they were playing early on in this quarter. Control the footy, defend well, don't let Hawthorn get a hold of it, because we've seen if Hawthorn do, they score so easily.
Mazungo towards midfield. Ballantyne comes up, takes the mark. Not sure that was intended by Mzungu. Worked out okay, though. Ballantyne, long one down towards half forward. Griffin came strongly. So did Gibson. Thumped it away, almost worth a kick. Mzungu being active. Little 1-2 with Neil. De Boer. Mundy finding a way through. Well played. Mzungu again. Sheridan spins out of trouble. Affected the hand pass, though. He never controlled the footy after that. And Burgoyne, such experience across half-back, gets the kick.
To Suckling. Hawthorn have steadied well here. Brilliant Rioli to Hodge. Good give to Lewis. And then Lewis to full forward. Bruce in a nice spot. Well done, Sutcliffe that time.
Felt Fremantle overusing the handball a little bit at the moment. Ross Lyon spoke to us before the game and he said Adelaide, he felt last week, overused the handball. Hawthorn just eventually creating the turnover. I reckon when you get it to that point in the ground, get it in there. Give your forwards a chance.
So Sandilands takes it out. Mzungu just couldn't quite get hold of it. He's had a fair bit of it, as Dennis said, Mzungu, but I reckon he's been a bit shaky in this opening term.
It's a great call, Lingy, because you've got Pavlich on top down there. Main's getting a little bit of the footy. Ballantyne's getting it, so get it inside your forward 50. Give them an opportunity.
Ruckman thought a draw. Mundy had it momentarily on his knees. Sandilands. Ball rolls out the back. Mundy on the bounce to Neil. Virtually handed it to Ibbotson. Mzungu. Gee, it's tough in there. Johnson. Neil smothered off the boot again. Hawks hanging off the pack. Suckling. Sense of humour, ran back into the pack. Neil in the opposite direction. Spins out. Hand passes. Heard a voice perhaps. Well done, Main. To the run of Ballantyne. Kicks it down towards the wing. Taberner, no one up ahead. He dropped the mark. Now he's got a problem. Hand passes. There's nobody there. I can tell him that. Duray. Frawley. It's 2 against 1. Well played, Birchall. Just peeling off. Took care of Main. Shields goes short. Finds Rioli.
Been prominent, Rioli. Kicks wide and not so handsomely. The boundary throw in.
Fife off the ground at the moment, Bruce. He's been off for a couple of minutes. He's had his left calf rubbed pretty heavily for a while. Look, he's limping. He's not 100%. Wasn't 100% coming in, but he'll give it his best, that's for sure.
You have to swallow those, Taberner. That's an absolute sit-up.
Half chances. You've got to take every one of them, don't you, Duck?
Yep.
It's a beautiful kick by Ballantyne, wasn't it? So Mzungu did well there. Neil, Dawson, De Boer. Hawthorn forcing them to handball a lot, the Dockers, aren't they? And that one out on the full, just the pressure build.
And what it does, it starts creating that perceived pressure too. Hawthorn, Fremantle players now feel like they're under the pump. Hawthorn's pressure has been first class. I reckon Fremantle have got to think their way through it a little bit more. Cut out the overuse of the handball.
Mitchell, of course, not popular here because of he and Fife running into one another down in Launceston.
David Hale has the ball. Man on the mark is right on the 50. Just get the feeling in that 50 against the Dockers. Unbelievable. Well, not sure about the first one. We'll wait and see what happened between Spur and Rioli.
Well, you just hope it's not a Tiggy Touchwood one. You don't want to give these sorts of penalties in big finals for small things. They've already made one mistake.
So this is for the lead. Hale, very reliable, splits the middle. So Fremantle started brilliantly, and now, more than halfway through the term, have nothing to show for it. But you get the feeling that Hawthorn are tightening the screw, just coming to terms with this game. And that's bad news for Fremantle. They've been forced into error, not only giving away a 50, but generally in that back half.
Well, let's see what this 50's for. Hardly see what's happening there. Something on Luke Hodge from Spur, but costly again.
Wow.
Gifted them 2 goals now.
Mundy, his 5, so gets foot to ball, doesn't go far. Gee, that Main miss a moment ago, eh? Taberner, it's had a slow start. He dropped a sitter a minute back. Hawthorn really doing well here. Gibson, Puopolo, Duray, spreads it to Smith, the opening goal kicker for the Hawks. Rioli, prolific in the opening term, loads it to full forward. Roughhead, couldn't quite, well done Ibbotson. Roughhead worked his way to the front spot. Dawson runs it over. And even though they're getting first hands on it in the centre square, they're finding it hard now to get the ball inside the forward 50, the Dockers. Just creating turnovers, the Hawks.
Very clinical by the Hawks, getting back into it, as they often do. Hard work. It's a virtue. It's a skill.
The first quarters there, both excellent at it, but it's Fremantle's best quarter of the season. In fact, it's pretty much even at the moment.
Ball on the outer
Big
side
win for the Hawks.
after the Mzungu kick. Smith comes back to Frawley. Frawley comes across the ground. Brian Lake's got it. Feeds it forward. Hill goes short. Shields. He's running hard. His fifth possession, just forward of the interchange gates. Warm day in Perth. It's still a warm evening. Just terrific for footy. And this has been white hot at times. There's Lake, forward of the wing, drives it inside the forward 50 to space. Up comes Dawson. It bounces in front of it. It's a raffle now. Schoenmakers coughed it up. Over the top, Sutcliffe. Schoenmakers hangs on, and Hill runs it across the line.
Sandilands, McAvoy. Lock arms a bit. Fife, so a couple of touches now to Bohr on the right side for Pearce. He keeps the ball in, he does. Hawthorn in a good position maybe. Barlow was one of the spoilers with Griffin and a boundary throw in.
Well, an area that they struggled last time, Lingy, was the clearances. Right now, Fremantle just up 8-5, so they've tidied that up a little bit from the last time they met.
So good signs for Fife. At least he's out there and getting hands on ball. He's certainly not moving well. Mitchell did a great job, but they turn it over. Mzungu now, here's a chance. Tappan has had a slow start. He needs something good to happen here. Gets it wide to Pavlich. No free. And then Pav trying to do a bit of umpiring, and Frawley just mops it up and gets the ball to Gibson. A big win for Frawley there. Now Birchall.
Towards the wing. Hale reaches over the top, couldn't hang on. Dawson mops up, goes to Johnson. Did well, little decoy, and comes out to Neal, the defensive side of left centre wing. Valentine is moving inside the centre square. Griffin is the longer option, but he goes short back to Johnson. And Johnson goes all the way back inside the defensive 50. Sheridan looks to the outer side, goes towards Sutcliffe. Got to be daring on occasions tonight, the Dockers. Along the line, Mzungu.
Not a bad little phase to go into, though, just trying to control possession of it as opposed to when they've been a bit frantic, handballing too much. Fremantle just prepared to play the percentages.
Poor kick again by Mzungu.
Kick, though. Yep, you're right, Bruce.
So Gibson picked it off. Dennis is right. They had a chance here to really attack. Neal decided not to. And they've taken the long way from goal and now in Hawthorn's hands. Lake, Mitchell. He'll lap this up. Smith. Frawley. That's what Hawthorn do, isn't it? Uncontested marks. They haven't gained any ground, though. That's the important thing.
They've set up well here, Fremantle. Getting across, making sure that there's no other options other than that short one across the ground.
Birchall, 20th final tonight, along with a whole heap of Hawthorn players, all playing their 20th final. Burgoyne, of course, in his 30th.
They're still up to 28 marks at the moment, Hawthorn. That would annoy Ross Lyon.
So Frawley goes down the line. Schoenmakers protected well by Roughead, but couldn't hold the mark. Boundary throwing.
I think that last passage of play, though, Lingy, Fremantle won't mind those uncontested marks because they're not able to play on. Yep. They were held up. Did well then, Freo.
And they've been going sideways as well, Duck, with a lot of those marks. They've switched the ball back and forward across the ground. It's when they go forward and take uncontested marks it hurts.
Here's a quick kick out of the congestion, but straight to Gibson. He's been a very influential player the longer this term has gone. To Mitchell. Mitchell, so skillful, goes down the line. Either foot, it doesn't matter. Roughead on the boundary line. The movement comes from Bruce within range.
Well, that's exactly what Richo was just talking about. It's okay to go sideways and get held up. 3 uncontested marks, moving the ball forward. Now, a goal, an uncontested mark to Bruce inside 50.
Nearly spilt it.
Yep.
51 goals this season, coming off 57 last season. Not beyond him this one. This is what he does for a living. He puts it through. Wonderful kick. Luke Breust, and suddenly the margin out to 7. It's ominous as far as the Dockers are concerned. Fremantle starting to control this game.
Well, they're outnumbered, that's for sure. Many, many times over, but they're making their own noise here, and they've got plenty to cheer about. So Bruce has now kicked a goal in every match he's played against the Dockers. That's 9. It's hit the board. So Hodge, well done. Got it forward. Mzungu flew hard. Schoenmaker's able to kick it on. Sheridan maybe the first back. Comes out the back. Bruce with a chance. Flicks it out. Gets to Suckling. Could kick a goal from here. And he does. Hawthorn get their 4th. Well, started with Hodge in the centre, and then Freo had the numbers, and they panicked a bit down back.
Well, that's 4 goals from their last 6 entries. That's the ability that this side has. They can score so quickly. Well, that's 4 goals from their last 6 entries. And that's the great strength of this Hawthorn side. They can just score so quickly.
26 plays 13. Good bounce. Sandlands decisively. De Boer hurriedly. Inside the forward 50, Griffin. Lake was there. Main missed the target. Hodge waited for the tacklers. And they arrived. Ball up.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Luke.
Fremantle desperately needing a goal here. Clock running down to quarter time. McAvoy wins it wide of the pack. Mundy stood up in a tackle. Fife didn't. Taken down by Roughhead. Pinched there by De Boer. Smothered off the boot. Mzungu improvises. Knocks it forward. In the road, though, Lewis, Puopolo. And now it's Shields, Puopolo. Oh, look at the acceleration. Oh, that's brilliant. Back to Hodge. Hodge feeds it forward and Rioli.
Fantastic football. Look at the kick to fall forward. Schoenmakers has got it. How's that? That's Hawthorn footy from one end to the other. That handball to open Puopolo up, which opened the Dockers up.
That is some of the most sensational footy you'll see. Paul Puopolo just prepared to go again. Work rate, great ball movement by the Hawks. And, well, we said the Freo crowd was up and about. Well, Hawthorn now, they have silenced this crowd. What a team they are, lining up for their 5th in this first quarter. Big, big effort by them.
That's as clean as you get, isn't it?
Yep.
Fought their way through it beautifully.
Schoenmakers has to make every kick he gets tonight count. He's hammered it home. I mean, the reality is if Gunston comes back next week, he's one or two that might be in trouble. Chris Mayne, eh? If he kicked straight, they would have been 16 points in front not very long ago. And here, Hawthorn now charging away.
Well, halfway through this first quarter, Fremantle were flying. Chris Mayne having a shot at goal to put them 3 goals up. Hawthorn have responded magnificently well. Got their hands on the footy, used it well. Pressure's been great. And now they're 3 goals up.
Mundy out of the middle. Got the ball. Down goes Walters. De Boer hurriedly. Pavlich is outnumbered. The cavalry arrive from the back. Knocked down in front, though, by Hawthorn. Birchall hit the deck. In goes Lewis. Lewis controlled it pretty well. Threw the body in. Giray trying to assist De Boer. Birchall's got him. Down he went. Shields comes away with it. Kicks towards midfield. Sutcliffe knocked it to his own advantage. Helping out was Neil. Kicks inside the forward 50. Griffin went back with courage. Roughhead off balance. Well played, Roughhead. Gives it to Wake. Smothered off the boot. Now or never for Freo. Clock is counting down. Ballantyne only as far as Gibson. Shields, not 15. Well, it was actually. It went to him. Kick comes up towards the wing from Hodge. Ibbotson.
Too selfish, Ballantyne. Pearce was outside. Would have got the distance, probably kicked a goal, and he refused to handball to him. So Ibbotson's kick, what a quarter by the Hawks. Coughed up the first two, Fife obviously wounded, and Hawthorn responded magnificently and kicked 5 unanswered. Hodge involved, the Hawthorn machine looking strong. So quarter time here, it's 13-32 in the prelim final. So here's Ross Lyon at quarter time. Here's his response to what he saw in that opening term. 2 free kicks given up, 2 goals given up when they led. Panic down back. Handball not given when it should have been late in the quarter.
And not happy at all there, and he's got every right to be. Hawthorn have taken 33 marks. They're going at 70% efficiency. That's not what we expected. He even said to us, Duck, before the game, that if it's a shootout, Hawthorn win, and they're playing like it's a shootout at the moment.
I'll tell you what, clearly, they normally go off into their areas, forwards, backs, on balls. You can see there, Ross Lyon, none of that. There were some clear messages there. You can see, chat to Ballantyne, could have given the handball.
Down to Baz and you, Richo.
Yeah, Bruce, well, obviously the big story, apart from Ross Lyon having a real crack there at quarter time, his nap bite. He immediately went to the physio at quarter time and got an ice pack and put it on his leg where he's had the issues all of the second half of the year. He really struggled, Baz. He was limping most of that quarter. I'm really concerned that he's going to be able to finish this game out at the moment.
It's the back of the knee just lower and then the stress fractures down that leg. Almost a perfect storm, boys, because that first collision, that's where he got hit. He is starting, though, in the middle of the ground. They're going to see how long they can get out of him.
Stress fractures, that is huge. You just don't feel this Fremantle team can win without Nat Fife absolutely flying. Only the 2 disposals in that first quarter. Gee, it's going to be brave if he can impact this game from now on.
Hawthorn by 19 points then, starting the second term at Domain. McAvoy, sort of. Mundy. Sheridan under pressure. Sends it down towards left half forward. Peeling off. Lake having a good game now. Sends it down towards half forward. Drifting back, Spur. Wants to go. Told he did by the umpire. Kicks it down towards half forward. Coming across once again, Lake. Reading it beautifully. That kick, well, interesting. It runs away from Hill, but he's got ample time. Main slips over. Burgoyne looks towards the middle. Giray will get across the ground. He does, pushing up from behind is Frawley. And Frawley spots a lead, ignores that. Smith was coming at him, bypasses Smith. This one will bounce on the wing. That'll watch half forward and Brewster. Oh, he turns Sutcliffe inside out. Brewster's away. So are Hawthorn. Here's Shields.
Great stuff by the Hawks. Shields to fall forward. He's got a couple to choose from, and Schoenmakers clunks it. Gunston, of course, injured. Look at Ruffy with the bandages all over the head.
What about that move from Luke Bruce there? Just completely turned Sutcliffe around, and as soon as he did that, the Hawks were out. Shields had options galore inside forward 50. Brilliant spot, Luke Bruce.
It's all about ball use for me at the moment. Hawthorn just so much cleaner, using the ball so much better.
Really misses from the set shot, Schoenmakers. Hasn't played in the premiership. His grand final was in 2012. Good kick, holding the line, is it? It is. Hawthorn, 6 unanswered goals now.
Oh, Relingi said he believed in dreams and fairy tales. It's becoming a nightmare for the Dockers, being half at least of that Derby Grand Final. It's really slipping away. They've got to find something, and they've got to find it soon.
Just the skill level. We saw Hawthorn can do things that Freo can't.
Yep.
You know, the handball by Shields in the first quarter, what Bruce did there a moment ago.
Just a beautiful finisher, Sean Makers. And talk about pressure in a final. He's under pressure to keep his spot, and that's exactly what you do. 2 goals already.
Sandilands taps it down. Mundy aggressively kicks it down towards half forward. Barlow, who's been quiet, hurried kick towards the pocket. Pavlich, he's looking in good touch, lays it off. Griffin pulls it back, all Hawthorn.
That's the difference right there. Just not as clean. The decision-making not as good at the moment.
And McAvoy, it was who took the mark and gives it to Hodge. Now, he, moments ago, contested that ball up in the centre. That's hard running to get back.
Birchall. So the last 6 scoring shots of this match have been goals for the Hawks.
And they're going at 71% by foot, Bruce. That is better than they go all season. They go at 68%. You can't beat Hawthorn if they can use the ball like this. Just hit targets. They'll work the ball the other end of the ground doing this.
Burgoyne. Well, that one cut off, though. Here's a chance maybe for the Dockers. De Boer, could he find a target? Main caught underneath. It wasn't a good kick. Lake picked it off to Burgoyne, to Mitchell, to Hodge. Hodge floats one wide to Gibson. So Gibson's got all the time in the world. And again, another uncontested mark. So many. We know that is their way. Smith back in full flight. Unlike what he was a couple of weeks ago here. Dawson did well. He's played in 4 grand finals, Dawson.
It's just those little, the ability to execute under pressure. It was just that kick there into Chris Mayne where sat up on his head, Luke Hodge doing the right thing and spoiling hard. But if that kick had been better to Mayne, he gets a shot at goal. They've got to be able to execute their skills under immense pressure, Fremantle, if they're going to win this one.
The ball going nowhere. Oh, well, the umpire says, well, you heard the umpire.
Right out, stay out, hold there.
With the ball just forward of the wing.
Play on!
For the go. Comes out wide, Rioli. Rioli. With Barlow on the mark. Has a look. Now goes over the head of Barlow. That's not a very good hand pass. Jurai sold into terrible trouble. Fife took him down. And apparently he didn't have a chance to get rid of it. Fife was there very quickly and maybe harmed his own claims. That man is coming down. I suppose that's the right call.
Strange handball by Rioli, wasn't it? So Hill hasn't imposed himself. Mundy's worked hard, but not much has happened. Hill decides to kick. Blazers and Hodge imposing himself in a boundary throw-in. So the match right now is on Hawthorn's terms, isn't it? So one thing the Dockers couldn't afford to happen, and it's happened.
Absolutely 100% on Hawthorn's terms at the moment, and that's the challenge to Fremantle. They need to shift the momentum their way, get the game back the way they want it to be played.
Gee, Brad Hill, clever kick, and Rioli just protected it brilliantly. Didn't use it last time as well, but he's had a great start to the match. Gibson pushing up.
Stay out!
And go back to Rioli. Geez, had a lot of the ball, Rioli. Probing kick to half forward the pocket. Not a good one, and Neil picked it off. So can they extricate themselves from the back pocket?
Neil has been very good. Put in possession. Sheridan short to Ibbotson. That's a confident kick. Could well be 50. Ibbotson up from the back pocket. 13 plays 38. Honours the lead. Spur hard against the boundary line. Got to trust their kicking like Hawthorn have. Like a golfer. Trust his swing. Ibbotson. Back to the kickoff line. Sheridan. Sutcliffe is breaking. Longer still is Neil. Will it get to him? On the bounce it does. Neil on the numbers of the 50, the defensive 50. Around the corner. Sutcliffe. Ample time. Drives it up towards the wing. Now Sandilands outnumbered. Gibson intent on getting it on the ground. Could have been in the back to Mitchell. Nothing doing. And then it could have been deliberate. That's what the crowd want. Boundary throw, and it's neither.
So 27 minutes since the Dockers have scored anything here. Hawthorn with 6 straight goals. Again, outnumbered Sandilands. They double banged him. Fife. A wounded Fife. It's a little sad to see in a way, isn't it? I'm feeling like this injury is far more serious than we thought it was a couple of weeks back.
Well, Basil just used the term stress fracture there. I mean, let's be honest, that's a broken leg. If there's a fracture in your leg, that is a potential broken leg he's playing with in the lower leg. That's got to hamper you. He just doesn't have that explosiveness through the contest. So that's serious. Brave for him to be playing, but having no impact at the moment.
Hill short to Hodge after the free kick was given to McAvoy. McAvoy doing okay, running Sandilands around. That's his role. Hodge against the boundary. Kicks inside the forward 50. Well done by Johnson. Perhaps could have marked, thumped it away. Here's Fife. Raw goes up. He's the hope of the side, but not with that kick. McAvoy, Gibson, shrewd across half-back. Takes the long option. Goes to the outer side. Crawley can take off. On the other side, there's a man loose. That's Giray. Over the top, another one. They're breaking down that outer side wing. This is Smith. He's already kicked the goal. Can't kick one from there, but kicks it to a dangerous spot. Runs free at the back. Roughhead leads back in the race. Anticlimactic. It goes out of bounds.
Oh, what about that? That's deflating, isn't it? Your champion, Fife, turns the ball over, and then Hawthorn go across the ground inside 50 without a mistake. That is the difference right there in this game.
8 free kicks to 2 in the Hawks' favour as well. A couple controversial in the opening term. There's Fife trying to get it outside the danger zone. Griffin, he's been well held so far tonight, even though he got that opening goal. Well played, Gibson, through the hips, so strong. Gee, Shields, that's so clever to Suckling, pushed over, and a boundary throw in. Shields' skill, we think of Shields as being tenacious, courageous, determined, but his skill tonight has been quite superb at times. I mean, that is deft, isn't it?
Certainly. All the class at the moment coming from the Hawks. Loose ball across their half-forward line. Ibbotson got it from Walters, then gave it back. 3 goals against Sydney. Short one, not paid. Gets it back anyway from Sutcliffe and carries it up towards the wing. Low down, Pavlich spilt it. No second chance. Giray got the crumb. Get it across to Lake. And Lake steadfastly just puts it back to Burgoyne. Burgoyne short.
Sorry, Dan, you just see as Fremantle go forward, all of their kicks, as they're trying to get the ball inside 50, are all really shallow. That landing 60, 70 out from goal. They've got a chance though now.
Fife, Neil. They went the wrong way there. Fife should have gone in the forward 50. Now he does to Griffin. Pearce, left footer. It's a long way out. Touched. "30 minutes since they've scored anything until now. And just a bit rattled, aren't they?
Oh, you talk about perceived pressure. Right now, Fremantle feel like every time they get it, they're under pressure.
Do you know, Duck, it reminds me of what West Coast did to Hawthorn a fortnight ago.
Yes.
Giray's high kick, punched away by Dawson. Walters used the body, staying on his feet though. Stratton to Hill, bit of a fumble. Well taken by De Boer, kept his eye on the footy, kicks inside the forward 50. Coming up quickly, Giray gave a hot football to Lake. He was taken down. Griffin, Ballantyne, now the left footer in the pocket. Walters has missed.
Wow, Lake, how lucky was Lake here? That's holding the ball every day of the week.
That is a shocker to miss that one there. That, you're right, Duck, that is holding the ball.
They've had a few things go against them, Fremantle, but that's not the reason why they're behind on the scoreboard.
No.
Just got to take a deep breath.
They're being outplayed, aren't they, by a great team. Birchall's kicked to centre wing. Roughhead in the right spot. Sandilands couldn't quite take it. Schoenmakers has been good. Lewis trying to create. Just buy some time, Lewis. It was a good kick, actually. He had nowhere else to go. Bounce was hard for Spur, and then he coughs it up a bit. Brewster's had some moments. Poppy, that's so clever to Schoenmakers. Little toe poke to Hale. Hale to Hill. Hill, bad handball. Bruce back to Hill. Hill in the pocket. Buying some time. He's gone. That's holding the footy up. At long last, they get a free kick. It's 8-3 at the moment in free kicks.
Well, that's more like the Fremantle pressure that we're used to.
Well, the crowd suggesting not as helpful there, though. Dawson across the ground. Pearce, long kick and a good one. Will he get there in time? That's a wonderful kick over distance. And Mundy created the space, comes short towards half forward. Pavlich storms up. Hill is going back towards the goal. Then he double backed at Hill. Wonderful. Oh, He sold something to Giray.
Well, this is a huge moment here for Stephen Hill and Fremantle. Great pressure, deep in defence, as you said, Duck, more Fremantle-like, but they've been able to turn it into some positive attacking play. Clever kick there by Matty Pavlich, just drew Stephen Hill to the footy, but he has to go back and nail this kick.
It was a courageous kick by Mundy too to hit Pavlich. So all of a sudden clean.
Hill comes in. Two players on the same page. Important goal. Stephen Hill, their first goal for a long time. And Nat Fyfe, it seems, in real trouble. As Bruce said, it's sad to see on the bench. .38 plays 21, halfway through this second term in the first preliminary final.
"39 minutes between goals for the Dockers. 3-goal margin. Keeps the crowd involved, though, that goal. It was massive. Good tackle in the back half, sort of set it up. Mundy, well done. Griffin. Barlow put him under the pump, Griffin did. The handball choice was not good. Hodge, clever stuff. Gets to Smith. That's a raking kick, but it'll be picked off. Ibbotson.
The good thing for Freo is that they're winning the contested possession. They're having a big win in the clearances. If they can just tidy their ball use up, like here again, they've made a mistake. If they can tidy this up, you know, they're not out of the game. They're doing some things right here.
And Richo, the other thing, believe it or not, they're actually winning the quarter. It's 1-2 to a goal, believe it or not. Dawson's floppy old kick to centre wing. And that's about Dawson's normal kick, isn't it? Here's Birchall. Well done by Neil to create a contest against a couple. Free kick to the Dockers. I can just feel it, can't you? There's a little moment here for the Dockers.
Yeah, they've lifted. They needed to, and they have.
Walters, who got the opening goal of the night, to Ibbotson. In the middle is Dawson. Goes in his direction, bounces in front of him, kept his foot with a hand pass. Not so flash. Ballantyne, head down, coughed it up. Hale goes after it. Ballantyne pushes it to a Boyce. Through comes Spur. Hand passes to Neil. He's been outstanding. Walters is lifting. He's pushing down the ground. He comes out wide, and De Boer.
I reckon the message will be, don't give it to Dawson. He's blown it his last couple of possessions. He's just panicking at the moment. Took a mark and played on, put himself under pressure.
He's a rare breed. He's one of those guys who doesn't particularly want the footy. As it goes up towards the wing, it's stumped away. Well done by Lake again. Rough head, gave it to Birchall, to Lewis. Feeds it forward to Smith. Comes back to Hodge. All the time in the world. Needed it too. Beats one man. Forced to kick with his wrong boot. As a result, it's not a good kick. Down towards the 50. Puopolo. Wonderful balance. Got away from Sutcliffe. Giray. Long kick to the kick-off line. Rioli spilt it. Should have marked it. Hill. They dodged a bullet there. Johnson comes away. Kicks to the outer side. Pavlich is storming up. Takes it across half-back. Sweeping hand pass to Griffin.
Back to the skipper. Pavlich. Long kick. This is big for Taberner, taken out of the contest. Frawley was good there.
Poor kick by Pav.
It was. It hung there for a bit, and Taberner set up. Lake, Hill. Next goal massive here, isn't it? 7 goals to 3 or 6 goals to 4. It makes a big difference before half-time. I reckon Fremantle have got 7 minutes to keep their season alive. The next 7 minutes defines them. They will not win if they're 4 or 5 goals down at half-time. They can win if they're a couple behind. Hodge. Lake. Frawley. They've worked it okay. McAvoy.
This is a massive issue. He is limping worse than ever now, Nat Fyfe. It's hard to watch, actually. He's in real pain with that lower leg injury.
Suckling to half forward, and from the side, Sutcliffe did okay. Mazungu feeds it back. Spur. High one, very close to the boundary line. And right on that line, the ball off hands and out of bounds.
Well, you know you're struggling when you let McAvoy run straight past you and take a mark.
Thrown back in the mix during the week. A lot of talk about him. And he's feeling it. He's riding every bump with his teammates. Here's Hill. Got it from Fife, down towards Hawthorn. Wonderful courage by Gibson. Couldn't hang on. Frawley found it on the ground to Gibson. Gibson, nicely done. Birchall, Mitchell, bounces it up towards the wing. Hill stifled it. Taken by Rioli. Lewis has been quiet, in trouble. Birchall. Mitchell has been quite loud by his actions tonight. Gets it across towards his teammate Hodge, and Hodge runs it across the boundary line. And he calls it deliberate. Well, there was a man down there.
What about Mitchell a moment ago? That little turn, that was... Tell you one thing, Taberner and Griffin are going for the ball against two Hawks. They're not going to win it tonight. That's a real hole for Fremantle when those two players are together against two Hawthorn defenders.
And the few times where they have had players out, they've just sat the ball up high, just missed a target. Those crucial little things that happen, they need to make amends for those. They need to be better with their ball use.
They've kicked the ball to stationary targets. Those players have to be on the move.
If it's an uncertainty, he was lucky to get it back after the smother. Kicks to centre wing and off Stratton and a boundary throw-in.
What I mean by that, when you're kicking the ball inside 50 a couple of times, it's been a stationary target.
Look at that Fife.
Have a look at that.
He's in a world of trouble.
Yeah, that's the vision there, Lingy. That was when he'd just come onto the ground. He'd had his leg massaged. He came on, but just seems to be getting worse, if anything.
And compare that to the first half against Sydney, boys. He had 19 disposals, 9 of them contested. Quite a contrast.
Mitchell down towards half forward. 4 clearances for Fife. Leads all comers on the ground. That's surprising and misleading. In that pack, off hands, boundary throw in.
How courageous is this by him?
That is huge by him. Gee, it's a worry, though, seeing him in that much pain.
I'm sure he would have been assessed. You just hope there's no long-term damage. Nothing can happen beyond this point. Knocked down by Sandilands, close to the boundary line. It runs across again. It will be thrown in. Under 5 minutes to half-time. The rival coaches, 2 of the best in the business. Sandilands and McAvoy. Sandilands, brute strength and some power too. Walters tried hard in this turn. Hill, Fife, driving it inside the forward 50.
Griffin in a one-on-one almost. Pavlich stopped it, did okay. Ball squirts out, and then Lake out wide. So 18 minutes since Hawthorn has scored in this match. So it's 18 minutes that the Hawks have hit the scoreboard at all.
Yeah, it's been good by Fremantle, but I just sense the last 2 or 3 minutes Hawthorn just trying to halt that momentum that Fremantle had. They're happy to run off a bit of time on the clock, maybe wrestle it back into their favour. But at the moment, Fife, look at that, and another contest, big by him.
Walters in trouble. Chopped off by Lewis. Mitchell always around the place. Bounces it close to the boundary line. Spur over the head of Sutcliffe. Coming through is Dawson, rather tentative there. Slapped out of that congestion by Rioli. Onto it goes Hodge. Puopolo over the top. With some clear air, Bruce goes to the outer side. Oh, well done, surrounded by 3 Hawks. They had him in the triangulation, but Everton took them hard. Well raised to De Boer. Told to play on it, centre half-back.
De Boer's kicking efficiency has been poor in the opening half. That one's okay. Gets to Sheridan. Mazungu likewise has coughed the ball up a lot. That's a brilliant kick. Main owes them one in his 150th. He missed the biggest shot of the night maybe so far. Kicks to half forward, not a good kick to Pavlich. Frawley able to hook it off. Burgoyne, short to Hodge.
And just slowed up there, the Pav, to take that ball. You have to run through the footy.
I don't like that as an option though anyway, Duck, going short to a 50-50. That 80 metres out from goal. Go longer and make the Hawthorn defenders nervous. Get them inside 50 one-on-one.
Yep. Got to turn that defence around, get them running back towards goal with those little fellas.
Well, you're kidding. That's ridiculous. Security should be onto that.
Yep.
Knocked down by Sandilands. Hill coughed it up, rough head, found a way through, then lost it.
Holding the ball.
It's against Roughhead, is it? Yeah, okay, it's coming back to De Boer.
2 handballs given before he blowed the whistle.
Just back to Smith, no footballer should be subjected to that. It's just wrong.
Well, he should be easy to identify anyway. Good shot of him. Short one comes to Hill.
Stay out.
A few of these Dockers have lifted in this term. Hill is one of them. To midfield in 5, and that's a gutsy mark. Mundy through midfield. Ballantyne charging at the football. Well played, Duray got a hand in there and knocked it out of bounds. And the little fella, number 1, argues his case. How about this?
Great grab by Nat Fyfe, but you're right, Dan. A sensational spoil there from Taylor Duray. Looked like it was Ballantyne's ball. The kick was good. Desperation.
Walters.
So it's a free kick in the ruck contest for holding on. So it goes the Dockers' way this time.
Has he got the distance?
What do you think, Richo? Can he get it from here, Walters, or not?
Yeah, I'll give him a strong chance from there, definitely.
Let's see if he pops it up or goes for it. Well, he's given it a torpedo, and it's going. It was going to go through, I reckon. And now Sandilands gives it, and it's a goal. Over the head. Pav's kicked it. Wow. It was a strange kick because it was actually, in the end, going to go through for a goal. And then Pavlich, quick to think it out. And suddenly this scoreboard is closing.
Spoken a lot about Nat Fyfe, and he has lifted. He has been massive in the last 10, 12 minutes of this match. All of a sudden, he's become clean. So important.
Well, I was thinking, what was Michael Walters doing? Going the top, but in the end, great play. Matty Pavlich over his head. Wow, that's got to lift the Dockers. What can Hawthorn do with 2 minutes to go before the half-time break? Need to halt this momentum.
Back to 11 points. Sandilands a couple of times got it to Mundy, then a hand pass across to Neil, getting a hand in there. Rioli, brilliant a second time, knocked it to Suckling. Lewis didn't have the ball. So Lewis gets the free kick. Inside the centre square, coming up to his 10th possession. Best and fairest last season. Floats it inside the forward 50. Dawson needs to come strongly. Well, he did. When zooming past, though, Hill took the mark. That's Dawson opted out. There goes Johnson. High ball to the wing. 2-on-2. Camped in front was McAvoy. Not required. The mark is taken by Lake.
Good mark by Lake. Just read the footy, got in front and marked it. That's his strength.
Somehow that ball's got to come to ground, though, doesn't it, Duck? They can't let Lake and Gibson be taking marks there.
So Hill on the end of it. Hawthorn being challenged. Hill, Duray, it's been good. Duray runs his full measure. Brilliant kick, look at that! 50-metre bullet. And Ruffy now with a very, very big kick. Hawthorn has not scored anything for 23 minutes. Inside the last minute of the first half. Massive one way or the other, this. 6 in the prelim last year. Great looking kick, got it. Oh, brilliant. Not just technically, but temperamentally as well. The temperament. And Dennis, again, a half chance. I mean, Duray to find Roughhead from where he was.
He's been good, Duray.
Yep. Spoil down here a moment ago against Ballantyne. Gee, that's handy for the Hawks.
Well, the Hawks champ knew how important that was. Just took the deep breath, composed himself, and then the skill to be able to kick that from there. He knew it was home straight off the boot. Huge goal leading into the half-time break. Big moment for the Hawks.
Margin was 19 points at quarter time. Here's Fyfe, battling hard against adversity. Kicks it down towards half forward. Spilt by Taberner. In front of the pack, Barlow gave it to Pearce, back to Taberner. Taberner's kick is not good. Hangs a long time in the air. Hobbs goes against the pack. Griffin takes the mark. He's kicked one goal.
Walk away!
Well, they need to be careful, Fremantle. should have learnt their lesson. Hill and Frawley battle. Meantime, Griffin directly in front. What a huge kick it is. In he comes. Oh, and he's put it through. No, he hasn't. He's hit the post. What's he done? He's hit the post. They're celebrating back in midfield. That has gone a long way left to right over the last 5 metres of its trip. Amazing stuff in keeping with the first half itself. Fremantle did well in the second term, and these players now have met as they're walking off the ground, and the umpires need to be careful. Umpire Rosebery having a word.
Save your money, go to the race.
Save your money, there you go. Wise advice. Half-time in the first preliminary
You're
final.
watching Finals Footy on Fox, half-time, brought to you by Jim Beam.
Wow, what a preliminary final we've got at Domain Stadium. They came out of the blocks like Usain Bolt did the Fremantle Dockers. And I tell you what, the only problem was it was an 800 metres, not a 200 metres term, and they stopped. They hit the wall, and Hawthorn ran over the top of them, as we just saw, even to the last second there. Griffin thought his shot was through. A couple of interesting umpiring decisions we'll have a look at. A couple of undisciplined acts by the Fremantle Dockers, and 2 puds missed in front of goals. And that's the difference in this game. Hawthorn by 16 points, hoping to go to another grand final. In the box seat, you'd say, at this moment in time. But the last 20 minutes of that game, other than Roughhead's goal, Fremantle Dockers were able to get the ascendancy back. Dermot Brereton, first up, your thoughts?
Oh, look, my first thoughts of this is that Fremantle, although they've had a go, they came out with the blast, they've still allowed Hawthorn to play the game they want to play.
Jonathan Brown?
Totally agree, that's right. They showed good pressure that first 10 minutes, then dropped away. Hawthorn took over. However, though, they've missed a couple of easy shots, Eddie, and quite often that's the game, easy shots, Sellers.
I think outstanding Walters in that second quarter. In the first quarter he was really good, but in the second quarter, down back, helping out in defence. Their defence stiffened up that quarter. They had a lot of players back. That's why it kept coming back in and coming back in. That's how they play. But they can't score doing that too much.
We'll go to the lab now, boys. It looks like Fremantle are playing a man down at the moment with that Fife getting around. And when it's the best player in the competition who's running around on one leg, it's like having 3 players down. So when you stack it all up, 16 points of difference at the moment. 2 set shots missed by Main and the last one by Griffin. 2 undisciplined acts. And you can see where the game has just been pulled away from Fremantle Dockers. They've done it themselves, basically.
Oh, they have, Ed. They have. There's no doubt about that. But the damning stat for me is that when Fremantle trail by 10 points or more, they have not won since round 16, 2012. It's a long time ago, Scotty. So, a big win for the Hawks. Huge win to absorb the blast. They got let off the hook. We're going to go through that a bit later on. But the Fremantle Football Club have let a massive opportunity slip in this first quarter and a bit.
Yeah, they really had their chance, didn't they? The way they started the game would have been exactly the way they had have hoped. They had kicked 2 goals early. Main had a chance to kick that third, which really would have put the Hawks under pressure. But having said that, late in the second quarter, Freo had all the momentum. Hawthorn didn't score for a long time. I think one of the big differences, and it sounds simple to say, Hawthorn have kicked 7-1, 1 rushed, and Freo have missed some sitters. It can be very costly.
Let's have a look at the recap of this opening half of football. And the blast came early, and away they went. Walters into the open goal. 1 minute and 27 seconds, and the Fremantle Purple Haze was up and going. Then Ballantyne, magnificent kick around the body. Into the open goal goes Griffin. They'd kicked 2 in 3 minutes, 44 seconds. The next goal wouldn't come to the 12:50 mark when Main had a shot and missed an absolute sitter. That was given a free kick, can you believe it or not? And then after that, another free kick goes the Hawthorn way. This one, 50-metre penalty off the ball. We didn't quite see it there. And Hale was able to go in, and the Hawks were back in town after 2 undisciplined acts and a missed set shot.
Next centre bounce, Luke Hodge, the finals professional, gets the ball going, a little bobble around here, Crum knocked forward, and we see that it spills just slightly backwards to Matty Suckling. He has a second thought about a handball, but no, knows he's got good foot skills over the shoulder, and he's able to pop it through. This one, great vision by Cyril coming up here, little shuffle forward, and at the top of the screen, Ryan Schoenmaker's getting out the back, and the young fella, the big fella, clams on and pops it through truly.
And we get to quarter time, and here's Rossi Lyon just firing the troops up. Not happy with some of their performance. He targeted Johnson and Dawson that time. It was a good old-fashioned spray. We just see here, though, pretty good effort. I reckon Schoenmaker's been pretty good for the Hawks tonight. He's kicked his 2 straight, doing a good job for the Hawks up forward.
at some stage you know that they're going to reply. And all of a sudden Pav gets the ball. A little kick over the top, and guess who's there? Stephen Hill. Stephen Hill kicks truly. It's a beautiful kick. Gets them back into the game. That's their first goal for the quarter. And they come again. Here they come again in towards the forward line, and Sandilands is there, gets his hands on it, right on the goal line. Little handball to Pav, real little handball to Pav, and a kick over your head. And that's a goal. That gets them within 11 points at this stage. And then up the other end, at 1 minute and 59 seconds to go, a little handball to Duray, and then a great lead. And guess who's on the end of it? Roughhead. Roughhead's a beauty. Goes back, and that's a hard kick from a left footer in that angle over there. Puts them back to 17 points. And then we see this. The man who said there, Jonathan Griffin, to take a mark in the forward line, and he did. 30 metres out, dead in front. Celebrated before it hit the point post. Can't believe it. Hit the point post, and it's 16 points at half-time. Hawthorn hang on for just a lead that they require.
Right, 16 points. So, can Fremantle, we heard from Kingy a moment ago, can they kick 3 more goals than Hawthorn in this second half? Is this where the home ground, where the week's break comes into play? Although, looking at it, Jonathan Brown, it's Hawthorn who've got the run at the moment, and Fremantle got some injury worries, and Fifers, as we said, getting around on one leg, that stress fracture has flared up.
That's right. That doesn't help your resilience when your best player's not going to be able to run out that second half, I believe. Hawks look good. They've lasted through the blast, and I think they'll be able to overcome in the second half.
Sellers, who wins it for Fremantle? Because we saw Walters was magnificent in that second quarter. Mayne has he's dropped his bundle after missing that set shot and having nightmares of the grand final 2 years ago. Who has to stand up for Fremantle to win this game?
You can actually see that they can score. They can score when they want to, but they play a different style of game. Every now and then they have a rush at it, and they go whack and try and kick a goal. They kicked 2 in the last bit there to get back into the game. They got a chance still, Ed. Don't worry about that. They're a real chance, but the Hawks are very professional.
Hawthorn have taken 70-plus marks for the half. Now, the times when Fremantle were good, when they denied Hawthorn the ability to use the ball short, if they can do that, they'll choke up Hawthorn, and they're right back in it.
Now, come on, give me one from the heart. You're pacing the floor up there before. You looked at your blokes, you looked at Hodge, you looked at Mitchell, you looked at Big Brian across half-back. All the big Hawks was just doing the job, and you were loving it, weren't you? Are they going to win it for you, mate?
I think they'll win. I think they'll win. You can't take 70 marks in a half. Put it this way, they'd have to limit Hawthorn to around 25 marks for the second half if Fremantle are to win.
And the statistics are exactly the same. They had 215 to 216 possessions between them, so there's not much in it.
Yep, well, they've had 8 scoring shots and 1 out in a full Fremantle, so 9 attempts at goal. Hawthorn have had 9 attempts at goal, but They lead by 16 points. Johnny Rolfe's in the newsroom. John, plenty of big stories coming out of the first half already. What are you leading with, mate?
Oh, no doubt, Nathan Fyfe. They just had to get the bloke off. 20 minutes ago, he looked shot with that left leg issue, and yet he has come out and had 11 possessions and 5 clearances. This is the incident 90 seconds into his first impact in the game. It looked like his right leg was in trouble, but we know it is the left fibula. That is the inflammation, effectively shin splints. And so he was on the bench 3 times, only 2 possessions. You thought he is in so much strife. He literally could not walk, and yet something seemed to click for him. He was doing it on one leg. As I say, 11 possessions and 5 clearances there. This is effectively a 4-week injury. He had 2 weeks off before the qualifying final. He seemed to train well and got that bump. Now, if they win, can he get through to a grand final? We're not sure, but he's got the Superman cape on right now. He's doing incredible things on one leg.
But he's got to get through to 3/4 time. Don't worry about the grand final yet. Anything else to send us on our way?
No, that's right. Look, the umpiring, of course, is going to be an issue. Now, we know that West Coast gets extraordinary levels of free kicks. Fremantle just do not seem to get them. So we'll have to see whether that free kick count turns around in the second half.
All right, boys, I've got a quick one. We've got to go to a break, but I've got a quick one-word answer. Ballantyne's little bump on Smith was more than 5 metres off the ball. Was it a free kick? Cost the goal?
No.
No.
No, but it was stupid.
OK.
That was all of that.
Jeez, there'll be 3,000 free kicks a week if you go for stupidity. Hawks are ready to go for the second half. We'll be back in the lab after this.
You're watching Finals Footy on Fox. The Dockers versus the Hawks.
Possible 6 quarters away from a 3rd consecutive premiership. The Hawthorn boys, plenty to say. Mitchell in there talking to Alistair Clarkson. They're getting ready to go. Let's go to the lab to try and sort this out. What happens, boys?
Well, we thought that the blast had been in effect, and it was. And we'll get back to that in a minute, boys, because that's Fremantle's game plan. And I guess that's what they'll be resetting for at half-time. But the difference in this game is Hawthorn's ability to handle the heat. Fremantle's pressure hasn't been at the level where it's really challenged them. We've got a fantastic edit here, Scotty, and we might get you to step us through this, because this is the structural side of the game. Johnson, who wants to hold at half-back, and Suckling, who wants to roll up and be the extra midfielder around the ball for the Hawks.
Yeah, we don't see Suckling playing forward of the ball too often, but he comes into screen now to pressure off the back of that stoppage. Johnson's dropped back off the ball. Hawthorn's pressure around this contest is fantastic. We see Hodge just get a hand in here, the pressure. Now they can release the ball.
This is the bit that I really like, Brownie. Handling the heat, Wapolo assesses the situation. Look at Shields, takes his time here. He knows he's going to overlap run. Then all of a sudden they're gone. Look at Suckling charging through the middle of the ground. Johnson's in no man's land. He's caught down the line. So it draws Dawson in, which allows Schoenmakers out the back. So Johnson's completely got this wrong. And he's actually caused all sorts of problems for that back six. And an easy goal for the Hawks.
It was well played. It was good running pattern by Suckling. He took off once he knew Hawthorn had the ball, took off forward. And that's what we see before the game. Rossi Lyon saying they'll get one or two in, and that's what Suckling did.
At quarter time, he come out and he said, "What are you two doing out there? You charge over on the offside, bang." He loves giving Zach a couple of cooks, and there's a little drive-by late, which you really enjoyed, Scotty.
Well, I think that free kick against Hayden Ballantyne was very, very unlucky, but I don't think Ross missed him just about.
Here we go, here we go.
And I think it might have been you guys and now you, Hayden.
Here we go, bang.
He was stiff. But at the end of the day, don't put yourself in those situations. The Ballantyne one where he gave away that 50-metre penalty.
Correctable?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think their accuracy in front of goal has really hurt them. Hawthorn have taken some cracking shots.
They had their opportunities. They had Hawks on the absolute rack. Disposals well on top. They were tougher. They still are tougher. And the score, plus 10 points, wasn't enough for their dominance. Maine missed that set shot at goal, which was a relatively easy opportunity. And then all of a sudden the game swung. Hawks kicked the next 6 goals. And basically it was done from there. This is just a soda, really. In a game like this, a high-pressure game, it would have been 18 points to 2. Yeah. And Fremantle get that belief that Ross spoke about, and that's probably the difference.
At each stage of a game, you've got momentum. It's how each side uses their momentum run, isn't it? And really, that's been the game. Hawthorn's used theirs, Fremantle hasn't
Well, it
used
sums
theirs.
up pretty well, I think, at the end there when Griffin had the easy shot at the end of the quarter and missed it. Ruffy down the other end takes a cracking shot.
Fremantle's still winning contested footy, and that's the one thing they'll hang their hat on at half-time. But look at that, plus 26 points from that moment forward. I think they lost their belief, they lost their structure, and the Hawks were able to use the ball a fair bit better. Let's go out to the venue, Domain Stadium, and talk to Brad Johnson. Brad, how are you seeing it out there?
Oh, look, Kingy, there's plenty of atmosphere out here, don't worry. But Nat Fyfe is the talk, of course, and the way that he's playing at the moment with the leg. And look, you can say that it's courageous and things like that, but he's really hurting them on transition. Even big boy McAvoy ran off him at one stage late in that quarter, so they have to make a big decision on him. And Hawthorn are owning the logo. Smith and Hill are really dominating this game here, Kingy.
Thank you, mate. Well, Ed, I'll tell you what, he's still going to have to play a big role for them, Fyfe, if they're to come back and win this game.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because it's going to be hard for him after a 20-minute rest there to come out and run over the top of Hawthorn in a preliminary final. But that's the job that's ahead of Fremantle when we return. It's Hawthorn by 16 points at half-time. So just about ready to go, and Ballantyne's still nice and edgy and angry. They need to get cranking here, Fremantle. Hawthorn by 16 points on the way to a grand final.
Good bounce. Sandilands with the run. Smashes it down towards half forward. Birchall, wonderful balance. Fyfe again, charging through. Runs onto his own smother. Slips a hand pass to Taberner. Taberner pulls it back. Pavlich can't get there. Off the body of Frawley. In goes Hodge over the top of Walters. Ballantyne dives in. And the ball up. Hodge 18 possessions. Mitchell and Gibson 15. Late 14.
Been fantastic, Hodge. Fyfe and Hodge going for the same ball. There is Mitchell, Dan, and he's, well, that was a bit lucky, I think. Ballantyne's got the goal. He has. They've got the first after half-time. Squeezed it really from nowhere. Mitch probably a bit lucky not to get caught holding the ball, to be truthful. It was incorrect disposal, but great pressure from the Purple Haze, eh?
Well, that's what they're all about. That's when they're playing their best footy, when they're putting that type of pressure on inside their...
And Duck, Nat Fyfe's first minute here has been absolutely telling.
Wasn't it? And what a great sign. He looked as if he was moving freely, didn't he?
This is Fremantle right there. Great tackle on Sam Mitchell. Probably should have been holding the ball. Valentine pounces on it. Big goal. Big start to this third quarter.
10 points the margin. Hale with the run this time. He wins it. Going back is Fife. Mazungu in the opposite direction. Mitchell's kick goes down towards half forward. Shields in trouble. Brilliant pick up Fife. Well, he's stirring. Johnson goes out to Pearce. Pearce kicks it up towards the wing. The signs were there.
Great hand.
Before half-time. Wonderful mark by Walters. So Fife has started brilliantly in this third quarter. 44 plays 34. And this place alight.
Walters torpedo. Well done, Gibson. Mitchell. Good tackle by Mazungu. Is there a hard tag on Mitchell?
Well, all of a sudden, the pressure that they're putting on Mitchell and all the Hawthorn players, their intensity's lifted.
Look at that.
And look at that, contested possessions.
That is
12
huge.
to 5.
That is huge. Matt DeBoer has had the job, blood rule here at the moment to Aaron Sandlands, but Matt DeBoer's had the job on Sam Mitchell most of the night. He's not necessarily playing a hard tag, but going to him around the contest. Mitchell big in that first half. He's had the 16 touches in the first half. He's now had 17.
Nat Fife's had the magic spray at half-time. He looks, the limp's gone.
Can you do anything for him? Could they do anything for him at half-time?
I don't know. I don't know. Without knowing...
He looks a lot freer, doesn't
he? He does.
Potentially, you could use some local anaesthetic, but you'd be worried that if it numbed his whole leg, he might not be able to run, but he's running fine now.
Hodge missed it. Hale went after it. Off the ground, Rioli. Brilliantly done by roughhead Bruce. Puopolo motors down towards half forward. Short one is on. Hill has been lively against the boundary line. Sends it towards the pocket. Well, Dawson did some work off the ball. Schoenmakers went to ground. No problem there for Ibbotson, who comes in short. Sandlin's off the ground at the moment under the blood rule. We assume it wasn't a head clash.
Well, if it was, the other fella's got altitude sickness, hasn't he?
He has.
So how well can Hawthorn keep this ball in? Spurs been pretty good to Ibbotson. Wanted to spread it, but Hawthorn have been able to fill the holes. Kicking efficiency, you feel, is going to be a part of this game, don't you?
Yep.
We know that Hawthorn will be at a high level.
Oh, they've been so good already, kicking at 74%. That is very high. Fremantle have got to lower that if they're going to be a chance to win it.
Is it all he's got? And hugging the line, Griffin almost, and a boundary throw in. So Griffin back in the team. He played 7 games in a row and they missed the last couple. Came in for Clark tonight. Gerard just a bit wounded here.
He's been handy too. Off the ground immediately. Griffin locks up with Hale. Hodge, clear passage, kicks inside the forward 50. Bruce's in front, bounce favours, well, the man going back, Sutcliffe, and then it turned on him. Eventually, though, Spur in his defensive goal square, will it stay in? That's a good kick coming out. And Mazungu right on the 50 has taken the mark. Fremantle fighting hard. They're down by 10 points. They got back into the contest after starting well midway through that second term. They really started to grapple with Hawthorn.
Mundy just off a step, hugging the line. Defensive type, give Taven a good mark. So Taven and Griffin together do win a good one there. Quickly releases Walters. Now Hill doesn't sit for him. No worried out of it. Well done, Puopolo. It's been good, Poppy. Mitchell's been superb. Birchall on the wrong side, but he's okay. He didn't need the right leg. Schoenmakers. It's going to be hard to drop if they make the grand final, Schoenmakers.
2 first half goals.
He's done his bit, hasn't he? Yep. Good kick down that line. Rioli, not quite. Ibbotson with the tackle. Bruce took a while. Handball to Ruffy, to Mitchell. Mitchell's handball, brilliant. Hill should goal. Should goal. He does. Brilliant, Hawthorn. They just slice you open at times. God, Mitchell's like Greg Williams, I reckon, at times. He just creates. Not sure I've seen a better handball in the last decade. I mean, Williams probably was better, but has it been a better one than Mitchell?
No. Just an outstanding player.
This is all the way back at Hawthorn's halfback. Brilliant contested win there by Paul Puopolo. Sets up the transition, beats Stephen Hill, and down the other end his brother Brad Hill finishes off nicely. Great play, great team goal by the Hawks.
So important, that ball for Hill. And Puopolo knocked down by Sandilands. Wonderful courage by Mitchell. Slapped across by Stratton to McAvoy. On the bounce to Gibson. Stood up and did well. Strength, broke the tackle. Suckling goes across the ground to Hill. He can take off. Mitchell again, moments ago, had it 40 metres away. Now he stops. He pitches his tent on the outer side wing, then goes short. Here's Hill into Mines. Mitchell again on the logo this time. Kicks towards half forward, going back Schoenmakers. Johnson a half chance. Hale stripped of the football. Leading back is Schoenmakers. Slips a hand pass away. Hard against the boundary line. Pulled back by Lewis. And Rioli is marked 25 metres out directly in front. That's quite a contrast. Ian Sandilands. But the kick favoured the little guy.
Well, it's a perfect centering kick, wasn't it? Got there quickly. And it just that little bit cleaner.
15 gone.
He would have heard the rumble behind him too. The margin was 16 at half-time. This for 22, and he sneaks it home. Some slick work close to the boundary line in a confined space out there. And Hawthorn, that last centering ball, very good. So Fremantle have to start again.
Seven goals, 1 to 1 goal, 2 from set shots. I just wonder, Lingy, I mean, look at Mitchell here. 12 disposals in the grand final against the Dockers when Crowley was on him. It probably was never quite going to happen, was it?
No, it brings up a good question, though, but I back Ross Lyon's decision still. It was the right move.
But right now he needs a Crowley to go to Mitchell, somebody.
De Boer's got to do the job on him. Didn't do it in the first half. He has to find a way to stop Mitchell's influence.
So Shields at half-back. So 7 goals, 1 from set shots, Duck. Hawthorn, 1 goal, 2, Freo.
Absolutely, that's the difference, and it's this ball movement and this ball use that Hawthorn just so good, so efficient.
So they've got themselves back on their terms again, haven't they? They've got a 4-goal lead on the scoreboard. That early pressure, I think of the past for the moment in terms of scoreboard pressure in this half. Mundy under the pump. Dawson, Sheridan. Ruffy runs hard. Sheridan under pressure. Fife just couldn't quite. Mitchell can. 23rd disposal coming up. He's already got... Well, he was able to get the handball away. He's already got the record for the most number of 30 disposals in any final. Burgoyne.
He's already had 8 this quarter, Bruce.
Yep.
Mitchell.
Push out.
Puopolo got it from Suckling. That's a bold kick back to midfield. And Smith hung on.
I got a little tip. If you want to just limit Mitchell's influence, you've got to go somewhere near him. He has got all the space in the world right now. They are just giving this Hawthorn team far too much space, Fremantle.
Lake, Geray, close to the boundary line. That's a clever kick. Led Gibson back to the ball. Now he's away, has a bounce, carries it down towards left half forward. Another centering ball. Test of strength. And McAvoy is marked in about the same position we saw that last goal kicked from. Pulled the chair away. Watch this. Man searching for the body, and suddenly the body's gone.
Yeah, it was Dawson. Great kick, though. Realised he had the size. Just put it to his advantage one-on-one. Just got to do better than that, Dawson. That ball had to come to ground.
So McAvoy, former Saint, we're right behind him. That's big. He's big, and that's a big goal. So, 34 plays 62. 28 points the difference. And Fremantle, for all their hard work in the second term and to begin this third term, are on the ropes.
McAvoy and Dawson were teammates in the 2010 grand final replay at St Kilda. Of course, Dawson was at Hawthorn until Clarko came, and then Wasn't there for long. What a response by the champs, eh?
They're a great third quarter team, and they have just flexed their muscle. Fremantle, they've got to find something. They've got to find a way to get through this. It's all Hawthorn at the moment.
Biggest margin of the match, out to 28 points. So unanswered goals again by the Hawks. Rioli gets on the end of a clever Lewis kick.
Keep coming back, please, thanks.
It's been good, Cyril. Showed a bit of it there. Birchall.
Valentine, free kick. Please, Scott.
So this is a good turnover for Freo.
You stay there. Stay
Valentine short to 5. Remarkable effort by Fife on one leg. Hung in the air too long. Johnson just stood and waited, didn't he? He had to attack it.
Had to come at the footy.
And now Hodge to create wide, but he turns it over. And now Hill, and here's a chance for maybe Fremantle.
Two speedsters on the outer side. Hill sends it down towards half forward. Well done by Stratton, thumped it away. Taberner went after it, controls it well, kicking in danger. Gutsy stuff by Taberner.
Listen, just wait. Control, just hold it. Hold it.
Hodge has got a point. And just had a point. The point of the elbow, and now Barlow is clipped across the forehead, and 50 against, I think, Gibson. So this game is simmering. It's on a knife's edge because Hawthorn just about to wrench it away from Fremantle. But they should kick a goal here, the Dockers.
Oh, that was silly there. Could have been reversed.
Through it goes. Barlow's first. 22 points. The decisions have been pivotal in quite a few of the goals tonight. The umpires have played their role. They always do, I guess.
It's been quiet, Barlow, hasn't he? But
yeah,
that helps him a bit.
Not a great season this season by his standards.
So that was the 50, and Barlow just the 7 disposals. He's now kicked a goal in his last 5 matches, so at least he's hit the scoreboard. Back to 22 points. It's a good lead. They engage early, don't they, on Sandilands, both McAvoy and Hale. Hodge, clever kick to Birchall. So much experience in this Hawthorn team. Gibson just gave away a 50. Bruce. Giray, good to see him back. He had the shoulder problem a moment ago. Grand final winner last year. Goes for distance. Not a great kick. Dawson front spot, couldn't stick the mark. Free kick. So blocking here, so Schoenmakers.
He's developing Schoenmakers. Always athletic, but now some footy smarts. Goes along the boundary. That's not one of them. Johnson takes the mark. Johnson of the Dockers. Rumour swirling around Perth he would be a late withdrawal tonight. Well, he's played but hasn't contributed too much. Bruce standing the mark. Johnson told to do it all over again. Up towards right half back. 22 points the margin. Backs to the wall, time for Fremantle. High to the wing, Sandilands helps the ball on its way. Giray has been good, Hodge has been brilliant. Shuckling under pressure, why not go back to his captain? Hodge close to the boundary, how is that for a precise kick? A metre inside the line, no margin for error. It was centimetre perfect, not so that effort though. Roughhead, in 2 minds to mark it on the chest or with the hands, dropped it completely. Sheridan got it from Barlow back to Spur. Spur deep in his own defence. Swings it out wide. Ibbotson can go over the top. No, he elects not to. Will take his time. Sutcliffe was running hard for a hand pass. But now he elects to go back to the goal square. And it's with Sheridan.
So the pressure tightens. Gee, that was a big drop mark, wasn't it?
Let off the hook there. Johnson just had to burst then and kick the ball
free kick, Fremantle.
long instead of looking for that extra handball again.
Fremantle, free kick over here. Half back.
So it's against Birchall to Ballantyne. Well,
hey, what, the umpires are having a massive influence in this game.
And the free kick count has evened up. Freo getting their fair share. Ballantyne so often the antagonist. Interesting kick here. going to work. Pearce should run and carry here. This is an important entry. Pearce kicks to half forward. Taverner goes early. Did well, Taverner. Got a fair bit of it. Hill taken down. Hodge was wonderful. Duray, Brad Hill. Backtracking, never rushed. High ball.
It's a Shepherd.
Fremantle.
So against Rioli. And he's hurt, isn't he, Rioli? So Dawson back to Pearce. Cyril still in pain.
80 metres out from goal, lobs it inside the forward 50. Griffin came at it. Down went McAvoy. He's going to get a free kick in the midst of all that carnage.
Let it go.
Paid a price.
Oh, knee right in the middle of the back. That does not tickle.
3 o'clock tomorrow morning in bed. That's when you feel it.
I'm not sure that was a free kick either, to be honest.
He cannot run through the mark.
I don't think Cyril had his eyes on the footy. He's allowed to go back and protect the space of where the footy's going to land. Didn't put his arms out.
Here's Duray in the back pocket. High ball. Schoenmakers interferes with Griffin. So it's a whistle fest at the moment. Here's Griffin, wants to go, lumbers away, looks inside the forward 50, miscues with a kick. It's all Hawthorn at the drop, but it bounces obligingly to Hill. McAvoy smothered the kick. In goes Ballantyne. Down goes Ballantyne. And Pearce is locked up between two Hawks and will have a ball up.
Got plenty of numbers back, Hawthorn here. A couple of feisty characters, Hodge and Ballantyne. Might be just out of his weight, Ballantyne, but it's never worried him, has it? No. They won't take a back step. Hill, Walters, good kick to the top of the square. Pavlich engaged early. Frawley was able to hold him up, and Duray takes a courageous mark. They're defending well here, Hawthorn.
See, they do that well, don't they?
Third man up.
Yeah, just come in and help out. They don't let their teammates work in one-on-ones too often down there in the back six.
And Liggy and Duck, they couldn't do that against the Eagles a couple of weeks ago. They couldn't get that third man, could they? No. And that's ball movement, isn't it?
Yep.
So Hawthorn defend it, get it up to the wing.
Fremantle trying hard, but no easy goals for the Dockers. The story of their life. Off the boot of Bruce that time, was it out on the full? Fremantle claim it. The boundary umpire has got other ideas.
Just come back to the line. Just wait. Are you confident in that? Okay. Okay, so we'll go with the Fremantle kick. Yep, okay.
I think we've got a split decision.
Good decision.
Yeah.
Very good decision. Well done by that boundary umpire coming over, saying that was out in the full.
Players very confident about it. The Fremantle players has that from Mark Sandilands to Neil. Neil sends it inside the forward 50. Pavlich against two offhands. Duray, who's been fine tonight. He's taken down. Clever hand pass. Nutmegged an opponent. Gave it to Stratton. Onto the chest, though, of Ibbotson. Ibbotson, front end of the centre square. Bombs a long one. Down there is Griffin. Launches himself. Thumped away by Stratton. Roving the pack is Gibson. Oh, wonderful stuff. Aggressively came out. Gave it to Burgoyne. Back to Duray. 18 possessions for him. Sends it around the outer side. Mazungu, he lunged at it. Quick hands. Not the right target, though. Sandilands was clever nevertheless. Gave it across towards Johnson. He's in trouble. Just grazed the ball with his fist. That's enough. In goes to Bohr. Strong tackle. And we've got a ball up, suckling the man in the grass.
I'm just a little bit confused here, Duck. For me, this is 50 when Ibbotson takes that mark. Puopolo can't come in from the side to man the marker. Is that right?
No, you're right, Lingy. And they've been a bit slack on that all night, to be honest.
Hale belts it forward.
Pushing the back.
It's a massive arm wrestle at the moment, isn't it? The last 5 minutes has been magnificent. Hawthorn defending for all their might. Hill's kick, Main, yes, he's got it. It was always his. 150th match. Do you know what? Not sure if he's had a bigger kick in his life.
Well, he's been a really good kick in his career, and then he's gone off the boil. He missed one earlier in this game. There was a 20, 30 metres out, directly in front.
Duck, in 2012 and 2013, he was 80% from set shots.
Yeah.
He's had a little bit of a wobble the last couple. He missed a gift goal in the first quarter to put them 16 points in front. This to get them back to 16 points behind. He's done it. He's done it. Massive. This last 5 or 6 minutes has been epic, I reckon, the way Hawthorn have defended and Freo have attacked.
It's been enormous, and the big question mark, Bruce, coming into this game was how many games half of these players for Fremantle have played. It's been one in 4 weeks.
That's right.
Right now...
It'll work for them or again them, yeah.
Right now they've got run. Don't you love supporters? They ride every kick.
It's a brilliant shot. That's what they're feeling in the crowd right now. Both teams' supporters.
3 straight goals apiece in this term. McAvoy rises high, falls to Walters hurriedly out of the middle. Knocked down to his own advantage by Hill, slips away. Hand passes wide, Shields, Birchall, Giray, steps by Ballantyne, who tripped him.
Thank you, Hawthorn.
Ella Giray, thought of left half back. Just lobs it over the man on the mark. Birchall finds himself in space. Goes to Lewis. Hill stays off him. Lewis kicks inside the forward 50. Leads Hill to the ball, but he dropped the mark. Fends off Sutcliffe. Does he keep it in? No, he doesn't.
Thank you.
And he's annoyed with himself and his brother. The older brother. They've done that before.
There you go.
Great stuff, eh? Griffin. Hale. Shields. There is the younger brother, Hill. Walters didn't stick. Bruce cleverly. Puopology spirit was good. Got into his back poppy, no free. Barlow's hands are good. De Boer has to be careful with the kick. Ballantyne was courageous. Stratton was wonderful. Gets it back now. Suckling a left footer. Clever kick, but Mark not taken. Mr. Gimbo Walters, Mr. Couple. Fife runs the gauntlet. Gets it to Everton. How strong was Fife there? And gets it to Main at half back. High kick, not a great one, but Sandiland should. Can't quite, needed somebody at his feet.
Roughhead combines with Lewis. Short one, Smith. A frenzy now in this game. Real tempo. Here's Suckling. Hooks it around the corner. Clever kick. Burgoyne right on the numbers. This is not beyond him.
That wasn't well defended by Fremantle there. They had 3 or 4 players almost just hovering around, 2-manning the mark. Allowed Burgoyne to sneak in behind and take the mark inside forward 50. It'll be a big kick for the Hawks champ, but as you said, Dan, not beyond him.
They need Big Sandy down on the line. He's standing about 40 out in front. He's got to be on the goal line.
Only 2 men, Michael Tuck and Gordon Coventry, have played in more finals. This kick is off to the right. It's wide right and behind.
Just to put that finals into perspective, Dan, more players have played 400 games than have played 30 finals.
Wow.
So that's where he sits at the moment. That ball not out yet now, boundary throwing. So, oh gee. Hope he's okay here.
Yeah, that would have hurt.
Yeah.
Smack it to the back here of him now. Sheridan. Oh. He had an uncomfortable night here 2 weeks ago, Bruce, didn't he? He's been a lot better tonight. That hurting, though. Lewis, terrific. His attack on it. Suckling. Walters and a boundary throw-in. So Burgoyne, 1 of 3 to play 30 finals. Harvey and Fletcher, 2 of 4 to play 400 this season.
And so far we've seen 2 very stubborn teams tonight. Neither one taking a backward step. Fremantle still coming. Fife slips it away. Walters. Now Pearce kicks towards half forward. Young Taberner will need to go here. Well, he's taken the mark. Out of bounds on the full. And the boundary umpire had a perfect view along the line.
See, we rave about Fremantle's pressure and their defensive work, but on the other side, Hawthorn, they continue to impress me with how well they defend, always getting pressure on the kicker. Just they're bringing the heat every opportunity they possibly can, and they defend well, they organise well.
Jig. I guess it's a fluffy doll, I guess, but
settle down, exactly. Just
there should be none of that. Mzungu. Pearce did well, actually, but then put them under the pump. Mundy's kick up and under. This is an important ball. Rioli did well. They get it down to Schoenmakers. Not a great handball. It put Hill on the back foot, but it was OK in the end. Giray, how well has Giray kicked the footy tonight? And Rioli, a moment ago at centre-half forward, gets to half-forward left. Then off a step, danger, danger, danger. No, good mark.
A strong
spur. He's been good, hasn't he?
Oh, he stood under that. Hardest mark to take when you're standing under that with the pack forming on you. That was terrific.
Straight up the middle. Barlow, runner alongside Sheridan. Kicks out wide. They've got an extra man out there. It's Main. Defensive side of right centre wing. Pearce wants it. Nice movement this from Fremantle. Pavlich comes at him. He ignores that, goes back to Sheridan. He's right on the wing now. Tough, uncompromising final, this one. Driven down towards half forward. They meet at the football. To the back it goes. Lake. Now he's in trouble. He was looking for a free kick there, Lake. He went to ground of his own volition, and he's been knocked off. Pavlich onto him. Ryan made a blue. Pavlich drives it deep into attack.
He's got a couple of targets. Oh, McAvoy for the second time in this quarter. Gets a telling ball in the back half.
Oh, the coach, Alistair Clarkson, would love that from his big fella. From Ben McAvoy, the ruckman. He wants his ruckman to be able to stand under those high balls, help his defenders out. That was a strong mark.
Mitchell wants Lake. Ibbotson couldn't take the mark. Rioli turning, spinning, still with the ball, Cyril. Ball comes out, little kick going forward. Griffin gets a hold of it and then unleashes a goal, I think. He does. He unleashes a monster from outside 50. Well, talk about a game breaker. You know what? It was never going to miss, Doug.
You know what, Bruce? He needed that because it was Griffin that needed to bring the ball to ground when McAvoy took that mark. You just can't allow those third man up marks because that's what Hawthorn build their attack on. But he's repaid them right there. That was a great goal. And well done, Pav, too.
Yeah.
Great pressure.
Well, Jonathan Griffin has not kicked a bigger goal in his footy career than that one. From outside 50, bang. And he knew it too. He's a happy boy. This Fremantle crowd are happy. 11 points Hawthorn lead by. It sets up a massive last quarter.
Over the top, McAvoy. Burgoyne in trouble. Gave it to Lewis. Advantage is paid belatedly. Mitchell comes away. He was a bit stupefied too. The kick was smothered. Now it's with Smith. Acceleration, great stuff. Pulls it back between two Hawks. Lunging in there and doing well with Sandilands. Oh, like a soccer goalie. Big Aaron just diving at that ball.
I don't think he dived, Dennis. I think he got tripped by the umpire on his way past.
Oh.
McAvoy, gee, late goal here would make a big difference. Remember Ruffy's late goal. Main overruns it. Gibson, they can think their way through, but in any team, Hawthorn, we know that. Is it a free kick in the forward bit? Smith looking for it, went through his legs, gets to Burgoyne, Poppy gave it, gives it to Suckling. Suckling brought down, tripped, I think. He's got the length, I reckon. He can go all the way here if he's not injured.
Thanks, guys.
It'll be the last play of what has been a magnificent third quarter. Here's Sandilands and the umpire, Doug. Let's have a look.
This is how there you see it.
More romantic my way.
Now, he can't run out here, can he? Because he likes to run out to get the extra distance. He's not allowed to, is he?
Well, no, he's not.
So let's see if he keeps a straight line. He always runs out to get the big hook. There we go. Well, he's kicked the goal. He's kicked the goal. As Ruffy did at half-time, Suckling does at three-quarter time. Massive finish to an incredible quarter. Still going here, though.
I will put it in. No way.
It's a very good point you made, Bruce.
I reckon he ran off the line.
Well, I think the rule was his buddy.
Yep. I'm with you. So everything sorts itself out. What what a remarkable third quarter of footy. It was 16 points at halftime, it's 17 points at three-quarter time, but it does feel closer than that.
In 30 minutes' time, one of these teams will be through to the grand final. For the other, season 2015 will be all over. The stakes simply don't get any higher. Will Ross and his Dockers get another crack at an elusive premiership? Or will the reigning champs keep their dream of an historic three-peat alive? When tonight's final siren sounds, there will be agony. And there will be ecstasy. Who will prevail? We're about to find out.
What price the first goal in the final term for both teams?
Huge, everything. Fremantle need it for the momentum. Hawthorn, I reckon that does it for them.
The Hawks by 17 points. Mitchell again, snatched away by Sandilands. Mundy off balance. Heard the umpire. Sheridan tracks it. Sutcliffe momentarily. Quick thinking by Hill, kicked it forward. Smith grabs it, kicks it down towards right half forward. Dockers lead in all directions. The football's got a mind of its own. Well played though by Johnson to Spur. Spur around the outer side. Lewis has to wait. From behind it was stumped away by Main. On the burst, Subban. And now a chance for Fife, paddling it along in front under some duress. Back to Subban, hard against the boundary line. And the mark is taken by Griffin. An unlikely hero tonight. He's put it a couple. Goes long down towards full forward. Pavlich had it thumped away by Frawley. It runs about 20 metres from those players out on the full, I think, from Main. And it's a free kick going to Lewis.
So the sub's been made, so Taberner's off. Taberner's off for Subban. Couple of early touches, so Mitchell again. Just too tall for Ruffy. Dawson. Always a little nervy with Dawson, ball in hand. Back to Sutcliffe. How courageous can they be here, the Dockers? Good kick in the end, floats it to Hill. His run will be important in the last quarter. Sutcliffe, Fife, not a good handball. Ibbotson had to run for it. It might work for them. Ibbotson spreads it. Spurs been good. Kicks to centre half forward. Pavlich almost brought it in. Frawley pushed him to the back. Didn't get a free kick. Pavlich, Barlow. Mundy. Mundy gets it back. Pearce with a long leg to full forward. Mark not taken. Hawthorn to defend.
Last man standing is Lake. Hurriedly onto the boot. Brilliant smother there by Barlow. Kept the ball alive. Lewis heads for the boundary line. Barlow's got other ideas. He goes down that boundary line. Wonderful tackle by Gibson. Down goes Main. And the ball rolls out of bounds.
Oh, look at that. Hodgie going back. Oh.
Heavy fall by the Hawk champ. The umpire's going to toss it up, so clearly it didn't go out of bounds.
She's in trouble here, the champ. Can hardly move, Hodge. Good tap back. Mitchell took them on. Got the handball away. Is it deliberate, umpire? Good call, I reckon. He was under. Look at the champ. Pushing away the trainer. And coming so slowly to the interchange. Gee, it'd be a big call to take him off, Duck. I mean, Hartung's the sub.
Absolutely.
Fremantle pushing. Walters dribbles a goal. He does dribble a goal. It was a beautiful dribble. So he's kicked two. They keep getting the first, but Hawthorn keep getting the last. Gee, it's a good game, Den.
It's a beauty, Bruce. So much fight in these Dockers. So much class in the Hawks. Who haven't lacked fight either.
Just kick the goal. Now, this is what Walters with Giray at three-quarter time. That's what caused the wrestle.
There's a clip behind the ear. It might be a fine, but not too much in it. I'll tell you what, big talking point that half this Fremantle side has only played one game in the last 4 weeks. And here they go.
Sandilands giving a free kick. Sheridan running down towards half forward. Goes for the outside of the boot to Barlow. Just inside the 50. He needs to go back and kick a goal. Doesn't want to take the responsibility short. Not 15. Subin's in trouble. Tackled from all players around him. There were 3 of them. Mitchell back to Burgoyne. Throws it on the boot. Tracking it back out there and taking the mark is Sutcliffe. They need to be bold. Here's Spur with the left foot inside the forward 50. Barlow this time has to go back and nail it.
He was just too far out the last one, Michael Barlow. This distance is much better for him. Repeat entries for the Dockers, putting those Hawks defenders under pressure. Wow, what a kick this is, Doug.
Well, Liggy, they look like they're running on top of the ground at the moment, Fremantle.
That was a clever
They look
kick.
fresh. It's a great kick.
28 possessions to 8, guys. Backing up what you're saying, they're all over them.
So Barlow, so much riding on this kick. And he comes. Kick is on the way and it's out to the right. He's missed.
So the set shots, Hawthorn 9 goals 2 from set shots, and Fremantle 3 goals 3. It's a massive difference. But Hodge looking in big trouble as to whether he can come back. Mzungu worked underneath. Sandilands, they keep coming. Brilliant kick from Mundy to Walters, who's kicked 2 and can get the trip here. Plays on, gets the trip, kicks the goal.
Faded late.
Just faded late. It looked home, didn't it?
Wasn't that a great kick by Mundy?
Oh, yes.
Oh, what about these Dockers, though? Finding plenty. Like Vinyl, they're coming back. There's Burgoyne. Right half back. Goes down the line. In from the side, Spur. Opposite direction, Hale. Schoenmaker's had a piece of it. At close quarters, Dawson to Sutcliffe. Head down, he tries to barge his way out of there. Latching on was Hale. And we've got a ball up. Out towards half forward. Marginally in front of left centre wing for the Dockers.
Hodge is getting moving again, guys.
Dockers.
Hodge is moving on the boundary. He's not far off coming back on.
Well, Fife, little give, not great. Sutcliffe bangs it forward. Main protecting the ball. Burgoyne clever. Gibson, it was ricocheted away. Walters important. Great tackle coming in from Pavlich. And think about Hawthorn's last 4 prelim finals, all within a kick. Was this a free kick to Walters or not?
He just taps it on. Oh, brought down by Gibson.
Unlucky.
They dodged one there, the Hawks.
Free kick to surely to Hale against Sanders. That was pretty silly stuff.
Well, they miss one and then they give away a silly one.
So Hawthorn, with the last 4 prelim finals in consecutive years, all decided by under a goal. They've won the last 3 of them.
High ball to the outer side. McAvoy, the flyer from behind. Leading back is Fife. Closing was Rioli. Look at the brilliance on display out there. Hill. Hand passes down towards Puopolo. Hill comes again. So pacey, Rioli. Like a relay race around the outer side. And now Shields. Can he finish it? That bounce sold him into trouble. And as a result, no power on the kick. That ball just ran away from him on the bounce. Ibbetson's taken the mark. Back come the Dockers. Mzungu. End-to-end stuff now as the preliminary final opens up. Here's Neil. Quiet third term. Goes back to Sheridan. All the way back to the goal square and Ibbetson.
And if they can transfer this to the other side of the ground, they do have numbers, Fremantle. Hawthorn scrambling to get across.
And that's the kick linking, isn't it? That's the one you were talking about.
They've covered it pretty well, though, the Hawks. Scramble.
Spur, good kick to Fife. Fife with a long ball, balanced courageously. Did so well. Stratton was wonderful, though. Didn't give the free away. Smith to Burgoyne. Well, we've talked about Fremantle's courage to get back into the game, but what about the Hawks, 8? 5 consecutive prelims, going for 4 consecutive grand finals.
We expect that, Bruce, don't we?
Yep.
They've set the standard.
They do.
They are the gold standard. Hale has got it on the outer side. 9 points the difference. Just under 14 minutes to play. Hale a high ball down towards half forward. Griffin, who's been good, thumped away by Schoenmakers. Socket across the boundary line by Suckling. Little clumsy there, wanted to get back on his left side before he controlled the footy.
Well, he can't get back on, Luke Hodge. The play's been on that outer side for a couple of minutes now. There's just been no opportunity for anyone to come off the ground.
And from a Fremantle point of view, boys, this was what the gamble was all about. Obviously, with a week off and then winning the first of the finals, they got the second week off. They were hoping they'd be in this sort of a position with the fresher legs, able to run over the top. Can they do it? That's their challenge, but they've got that opportunity.
Perfectly poised, Baz, isn't it? Mr. September waits to come back on. They take some time to work on him now. You'd want Hodgie there in the last 5 minutes, even if he couldn't walk.
Remember his smother last year against Port Adelaide. Just those moments, he owns them.
Neil got it from Lewis. Neil took a bit of a rollicking from Ross Lyon at three-quarter time, by the way.
Just 2 kicks and 1 hand pass in the third term. Had 17 to half-time. Quiet term.
And Mitchell was prolific in that third quarter, wasn't he?
Yeah, no doubt. Ross challenging. Lockie Neal was a terrific young player. Mzungu, no way through there. Roughhead took him down. Barlow in the grasp. Sandlin's kept it alive. Subin improvising close to the boundary line, stayed in. It'll be thrown in on the outer side. Clock stops. Still ample time, as you can see. But the crowd, I think, want more of this. The main stadium at fever pitch. It'll be thrown in.
McAvoy and Sandilands. Mitchell cut off by Mzungu.
Holding, Fremantle.
It's got to come back.
Play's not continuous. Play's not continuous. Thank you.
Subin getting his hands on the ball a fair bit in these tight stuff. The sub, so Sheridan. Oh, Sheridan! Rioli. It looks good off the boot. The bounce. It's a goal. What does Steve Waugh say to the South Africans?
Herschel Gibbs just dropped the World Cup. Well, Tommy Sheridan.
Two to Rioli. He's never kicked more than 2 in a final. What does Steve Waugh say to the South Africans?
Oh, exactly right. Dropped the World Cup to Herschel Gibbs. Well, Tommy Sheridan there. Just one of those moments he will relive over and over in his mind. Potentially for the rest of his career, unless Freo can find something from here.
Touch ball. Griffin towards half forward. Towards the boundary line. Fife has the run of it. Suckling just shoves him out of bounds when he controlled the football, so it'll be tossed in. Out of nothing. Not sure too many Fremantle players got to Sheridan either. Knocked down by Griffin. Down goes Neal. Ball up.
It's a good point you make, Dennis, because it's just so important that he keeps his head up. Still 12 and a half minutes to go.
An eternity, isn't it? Knocked down by Barlow, third man up. Raising the ball with his boot was Fife. Taken by Suckling, goes down the boundary. Bruce with a head of steam slips over. Gets a quick hand pass to Puopolo. Mzungu was waiting and sprung the trap. And that's holding the ball.
Genuine attempt. No genuine attempts.
I reckon he's the only one that's got Poppy this year without giving away a free kick.
Move it on. Play on.
Spur. Sheridan was looking for the mark, so that's good. He's put himself in the position. Spurs kick a little sloppy. Subin has come on and quickly got into the game, Subin. Ballantyne. Quickly on. Terrible kick. Coughed it up to Hodge. Hodge to Mitchell. Mitchell off the mark. Now has to go wide. Good kick, though, to Gibson. We've just seen in the last couple of minutes the difference between the turnovers between the two teams. So Gibson, still Gibson, too much space in the end. Kicks to full forward. Couple of high flies. Poppy was down. Dawson, Mzungu. They're dangerous here, Hawthorn. Ball not out. Lewis, Smith, Pearce ready to take. Mzungu was terrific in there.
Mundy sweeping hand pass now. The ball's in the clear. Wins a hard ball. Hand pass is on. Quick thinking by Johnson. Knocked it down into the path of Main. Back to the trailer, Johnson. Clears some more space for Main. They've got this ball at left half forward. Looks back towards the middle. Some indecision. Needs to send it long. It goes down towards Fife. Fife had it knocked away by Stratton. Was it Frawley? It was Frawley. And McAvoy, despairing lunge, knocks it back across the behind line.
Well defended by James Frawley there. As you said, Dan, it was a good kick to Nat Fife to his advantage. Really well defended. The Hawks hold strong again. They've been in this situation before. The last 4 preliminary finals, as you said earlier, Bruce, decided by under a goal. They know what to do in these moments.
Mitchell, so for the 11th time in a final, he's had 30 disposals, and next best is 8 by any player.
He's been super. Just such a creative, great decision maker.
Yeah. McAvoy. Well, Birchall had to go. Frawley. They may get the loose one coming out. Main probably did the right thing there. He went back, didn't go to the mark, he went back to his opponent. So Lake won the Norm Smith against the Dockers 2 years ago. 250th game tonight. Will be his last, you think, if they didn't win. Hill, wrapped up, threw it away. That's big for the Hawks.
Pressure from Hawthorn.
Sorry. They had the numbers in Fremantle.
Yeah.
Right over it.
But Shields just attacking the ball carrier.
Stay out.
Rabid. On the boundary line. Finds Burgoyne. Under 10 minutes now. Burgoyne. High ball. Sandilands going across. Towering mark. Lays it off. Around the back, Sutcliffe. Dangerous kick, this one. Mzungu. This could be the ball game. Spills to Rioli. Rioli likes what he sees. He gobbles the opportunity up. He's got 3. It was a dangerous kick, and more particularly, the man it was kicked to knew it was dangerous.
Yeah. He's a nervy player, I think, but he was had all right to be nervy with that kick. He's never kicked 3 in a final before, Rioli.
So much is made of Hawthorn's attacking ability, but they were the #1 defensive team in the comp in the home and away season. And it's acts like that that led to them getting to a preliminary final, and now it's acts like that that look like it's going to lead them to another grand final. Great defensive work. Cyril finishes with the great work with a goal.
Suckling it was, so 3 goals to Rioli for the first time in any final he's played. Ruffy can't get it out. Pearce. Could there be one last charge from the purple? Giray. They're just so experienced, Hawthorn. Lee Matthews said before the game that it's like they've got 6 captain coaches out there. They thrive in these situations.
Birchall and Lewis, a couple of them. Lewis at the interchange gates. It's been a battle of wills tonight, and it seems the champs have prevailed. Over the head of Bruce, well done by Johnson. There was danger at the back.
Well, they just don't make mistakes like we've seen Fremantle make in this last quarter.
Scores from turnovers there. Well, it's a big indicator. Both these teams have only lost that stat 4 times this year, and they've each lost 3 games when they have lost it out of those 4.
Clever by Roughhead to Bruce, hard tongue, hard against the boundary. Rioli looking to cause some chaos down there. Didn't get to the footy though. Out of defence, Sutcliffe. Landing hard was Ballantyne, has to go again. Giray, who's been a star, quickly onto the boot, and there it is. The Hawks are into a grand final, you suggest. There's still time, but it's all one-way traffic now. And it seems Fremantle have been broken.
Just can't hold the ball in the back half, can they? They just can't make a mark stick.
Brilliant defensive work again. Taylor Giray finished off his own work this time.
He's been, as Dennis said, he's been very good. Probably played the best game of his life, Giray. He's close to career high numbers, but his impact, whether he's been spoiling or creating forward 50. Remember the pass to Ruffy before half-time?
He loves it.
So the margin blows right out. Ruffy couldn't quite. Hartong's on for Hale, and as he was last week. Bruised over the top. Ruffy could have a pop shot from here. It's looking very good. It's another one. They are into that grand final. And now that horrible 7 minutes for the Dockers.
Yep.
I mean, when there's nothing left for you. You've fought so hard. You've been on top of the table since round 4. And now there's no next week. There's nothing. It's so barren, isn't it?
Duck, it's an awful feeling now, isn't it? When you know you've been broken, you know your season's over, the other team's going on and you're not.
Well, it's 7 minutes of agony. It's as simple as that. I saw Pav just before we went to a break, just you could see him still trying to use his voice.
5 to Sheridan. Kick inside the forward 50. Coming at it strongly was late. Didn't stick the mark. Gibson with dash. McAvoy.
Hold on. Yeah. Downfield. Yep. Back up.
Hawthorn free kick. It's coming back to Gibson. Well, on the other side of the coin, of course, Hawthorn have their hearts racing. Another chance to make history. Short one comes to Hartung. Everyone was waiting for this, I think, for Hawthorn to rebound, and they've done so well in characteristic fashion. 2 trips to Perth en route to a grand final.
And even this just here, Dennis, is just typical of Hawthorn. So professional, just wiping another minute or 2 off the clock through controlled ball use. They're just not even giving Fremantle a sniff at this at all. They know they've got the game won, but still playing it right to the end.
Shine makers couldn't quite. What about the kicking? 15 goals, 3. And a lot of set shots that they've hammered home, haven't they? The ultimate professionals. With all the courage to go with the skill. De Boer's kick, Walters brought down. Gibson, Lake, Birchall. Some of these guys are looking for a 4th premiership next week. Burgoyne's going to be in a 6th grand final next week. And they know what it's all about. They've made the long trek twice, I'd reckon, in the last 2 weeks. Good signs for the Hawks under the current system. Those teams that have made the grand final and lost in the first week have all won. Brisbane, Sydney and West Coast. De Boer gets it back. Barlow gets it smothered.
Suckling takes the tackle, and we've got a ball up. No Victorian team has ever travelled interstate twice and won through to the grand final. Hawthorn, as they've done with this group of players, continue to rewrite the record books. Subban into attack. Walters, strong mark in front. Stratton admonishes himself, but the job is done. Margin 32 points. Walters has tried very hard tonight. And he comes, kicks his 3rd goal.
So Ross Lyon had more talent with this team to work with, or the Saints, do you reckon? Because he's had similar results in the end, hasn't he? I mean, he's a great coach, we know that. There is a cloud that hangs over his career, and whether it's fair or unfair, it's there. But I wonder, has he got a better unit here, or did he have it with the Saints? What do you think, Duck? I mean, has Ross Lyon got more talent here at Fremantle, or did he have it with St Kilda?
That's an interesting question without sort of going through both teams with a fine-tooth comb. I think he had a better attacking team at St Kilda. Clearly, they were a defensive juggernaut as well. But look, they've had a great year. Next year, they just have to find a way to kick more goals. It's as simple as that. If they want to go to that next level and win a grand final, they've got to find more goals.
Well, there's been two or three big things tonight. I mean,
Pavlich will probably retire, so they lose their great leader.
The two drop marks in the last quarter, particularly Sheridan. The two turnover free kicks in the first quarter. And Hawthorn's skill from set shots and around the ground.
We talk about it so often in big finals, especially preliminary finals, is all those little moments add up. Hawthorn executed all of those moments. They went back and kicked the goals they had to kick. Fremantle, they just missed their opportunities. As you said, Taberner dropped the mark in the first quarter. Main misses a set shot. They drop a couple of marks. That's the difference in the end. This Hawthorn team, they just do it time and time again.
Pierce looking for Neil. Neil still over the footy. Lake. Wrestle a draw and a ball up. 93 plays 67.
Dan, if it is the end for Matthew Pavlich, as many think it is, it's a pretty sad end, actually. He's been off for the last 4 minutes. He copped a very heavy cork in the leg late in the third term, and he may well finish his career on the interchange bench.
Hazel Zemplis on the boundary. Ball is out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Of course, we're talking about one of the great teams of all time, Hawthorn. Perhaps there's no shame in losing to them. In terms of, you can be unlucky around at just the wrong time. I think back to Rocket Eade with the Western Bulldogs, 3 consecutive preliminary finals. Just better teams around at the time. You need a bit of help, bit of luck that way. Here's Hill, smothered off the boot.
Rioli poaching as he's done so brilliantly, and then Smith who kicked the first goal for the Hawks tonight, and Ruffy's in his favourite pocket, I reckon.
Wasn't that a big set shot he kicked, Bruce, earlier on in the game?
And Suckling at three-quarter time. So what about Alistair Clarkson? No coach in the last 50 years has coached more than 4 premierships. I mean, it's the golden group of Barassi and Sheedy and Matthews and Hafey and Jeans and Parkin, and that's where he'll get to next week if he can win. He'll join the gods, and Ruffy can't quite, but it doesn't matter now, does it?
No. There's no percentage from this game. It's just glory ahead for Hawthorn, potential glory.
And I guess the big, as we see, Pav, the big question's now Gunston. Does Gunston come back for the GF?
If he's right to go, he'd be straight in.
How about that bench? A shot of despair and disrepair. There's Mitchell. Comes out wide, rough head. About 80 metres from goal. All the time in the world. Kicks inside the forward 50. Loose ball. Puopolo tries to knock it goalward. Ibbotson off balance. Sandlands has battled manfully again tonight. Knows no other way. Shields, strong tackle. Dawson taken down. Bit lucky, Dawson. And the ball up about 25 metres out.
If Gunston gets back, Duck, it won't be an easy call as to who to drop, will it?
It certainly won't, because Schoenmakers, he's done his bit. Kicked a couple of goals, been good.
Hill belts it forward, mark taken. What a role Stratton's played to do the job on Betts last week. Hill goes back, so it's Brad Hill and not Stephen Hill who'll get a chance at another premiership. He's already got the 2, and his older brother just that 1 grand final. So Hawthorn, they keep climbing over the challenges. Before tonight, no Victorian team. No Victorian team. It was Norton 7 had travelled into state and won a prelim final.
Really like Schoenmakers. He's an emerging player now. Comes short. Smith. And looking forward, whoever wins tomorrow evening here in Perth, you'll still need your tools if you're Hawthorn in defence, won't you?
Yep. Absolutely, Dan.
Both those sides with big, powerful forwards. And just playing out the string now, Ross Lyon. Slipped away. There must have been moments after half-time he thought they were a legitimate chance, but it's been snuffed out by a team that does it and likes doing it. And now they're basking in the bright lights at the main stadium. Just chipping it around, and this is showtime.
So one way or the other, they'll play a team they've got grand final history with. North Melbourne through the 70s, Hawthorn, West Coast, that Waverley final. So what about them? I mean, tonight they were challenged early. They were challenged throughout the whole of the second half and deep into that second term. So think about it. In the last 40 years, only North Melbourne in the 70s, Hawthorn in the 80s, and Lee Matthews, Brisbane Lions, have been able to do what Hawthorn have done this year. It's rare, isn't it? Four teams in 40 years get themselves to 4 consecutive grand finals. So, Matthew, let's go down to you. Luke Hodge goes to a 5th grand final.
Well, Hodgie, mate, you're on the cusp of something special now, but you had to do it a little bit harder this year. 2 trips to Perth. Must feel pretty special.
Yeah, well, as we lost a few close games throughout the year, which obviously cost us a top 2 spot. But, well, I guess when it comes to finals and I guess top 8, then top 4, it doesn't matter where you play as long as you take the opportunity. And last time we were here, we made a lot of errors. Our work rate wasn't quite there. So I thought we learned from that from last week and then continue on this week. Like we always knew with coming over here, the Purple Haze, when we played them in the grand final a couple of years ago, they were loud at the MCG. So we knew it was going to be a fairly energetic crowd, and that's exactly what we got. But I thought the boys coped with it pretty well.
You just had to wear them down over the night. And I just thought you executed it at crucial moments a little bit better than what they did tonight.
Yeah, it helps. As I said, you've been a forward kicking 15-4. When you can actually work the ball through and capitalise with some straight goal kicking, it definitely helps. And you get reward for your work. So, look, fingers crossed it can happen next week. But we'll review this game and move into another big game next week.
It all starts now, mate. A big week ahead. What's the plan? Do you go home tonight? Do you go home tomorrow? Do you watch the footy tomorrow night?
I will definitely watch the footy tomorrow night. I guess it's each to their own. We've travelled a fair bit the last few years, and we sort of know your own preparation. So a handful of guys will go home tonight. A few will stay for tomorrow. But yeah, I guess the boys do their own preparation. But I think a lot of them will keep an eye on the game tomorrow night.
Mate, you fell heavily there in the last quarter and spent a little bit of time off. You feeling okay? Body all right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, no problems at all.
All right, good luck.
Thanks, mate. Ta.
Thanks.
Good on you, Richo. Thank you. With Ruffy now, and we're just talking about who goes home when, and you're going home in a couple of hours, Ruffy.
Yeah, mate, on the plane and back to Melbourne. So that's what the plan was, and got the job done, which was good.
2 weeks ago on this ground, almost completely outplayed by the West Coast Eagles. It was a big ask to have to get back here and then to have to take on Fremantle, but it was something you handled.
Well, yeah, I mean, we gave ourselves, we had the double chance, and we did the job against Adelaide last week, and we prepared well, knowing that the crowd was going to be loud, and of course they were in that first quarter, but that first quarter by the boys, 5 goals to 2, it really set us up for the rest of the game.
Some really big moments, some big 50-50 moments, none bigger than your kick virtually on the half-time siren, and that was the difference tonight.
Yeah, I guess we kicked well. We kicked 15-4, so that's very good set shots from the boys. So, you know, you've got to try and take your chances, because over here, if you don't, as we found out a couple of weeks ago in that first quarter, you lose it pretty quick.
Bit of a whack on the scone tonight.
Yeah, mate, not many feathers there, so not much padding, I would have thought.
It's a different look, that's for sure. Grand final week, you know all about it. You've got another one. Right now, does it get exciting from this moment on?
Oh, yeah, I mean, anytime you get a chance to play in a grand final, they're always exciting, and I guess, you know, who knows if this is our last one, but you've got to enjoy it, because this is what we play footy for, and we've got ourselves to another granny, which is what you want.
In a week's time, you're going for 3 in a row. Congratulations, Ruffy. Well played.
Thanks, Baz. Cheers.
Back to you, boys.
Oh, look at him. Alistair Clarkson. Bruce singing his praises earlier and bracketing him with some of the all-time great coaches. He's right in the elite now.
Who says Clarko's grumpy? Look, he's got a smile on his face. He's a happy man. He's nice and relaxed.
It wasn't easy when he started either, was it? I mean, he had his battles there for a few seasons, but now he is the man who sets the standard in the competition. Can he win a 3rd premiership in this situation? Straight. Of course, he won one back in 08.
It's just so hard to do, isn't it? Brisbane did it, and then you've got to go back to teams like Melbourne did it a couple of times, Carlton did it, and of course Collingwood famously did 4 in the 1920s.
Well, the system now is designed for this, is supposed to be impossible. With the salary cap, with the draft, equalisation, all of these different things. You're not supposed to be able to win 3 in a row. You're certainly not supposed to be able to win 4 in 8 years.
When you
Hawthorn are on the verge of that.
You think about Melbourne back in the 50s, they won 3, lost 1 and won 2. It could have so easily been 6. They were red-hot favourites to go 4 straight during that run. But this team, history is beckoning.
I wonder, they'll belt out the song here. I wonder if they'll sing Horses after tonight's win. That's as big a win interstate as you get.
You're drunk.
Right outside.